Hello, everyone. Welcome back to round three. 3 of 3 of the Region 2 Challenger Series, the 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series presented by Orage. My name is Mark Warner. You may know me from the Freeride Guide podcast, talking about everything freeride, and I'm here with my co-host, Rachel.
Good morning. My name is Rachel Shannon. Very excited to be here.
And tell us what you do here for the for the IFSA, Rachel.
I am the Education Systems Manager, so I oversee the organization of all of our coach, judge, and technical director certification programs.
You've also been an athlete?
I'm an athlete and a judge as well, so
And broadcast announcer?
A lot of things to say about freeride, that's for sure.
How many hats do you actually have?
At least 10.
At least 10 hats.
Got the beanie, the baseball cap, all the different hats.
Well, you'll notice if you folks watched the Whitewater event, which we had last week, the Kirkwood restage here in Kicking Horse, which we did yesterday, you'll notice I also have many hats. Today, I am representing the Western Canada Freeride, the Freeride organization here in Western Canada, the host team here at Kicking Horse. So before we get started, I'd like to do a little land acknowledgement. Kicking Horse Mountain Resort is located on the unceded lands of the Secwepemc and the Ktunaxa people, and the chosen home of the Métis people of British Columbia, and we are grateful to be here. So today is an exciting day.
It is indeed. We have our final stop of the Challenger Series. So we're going to see a lot of action. The athletes competed yesterday, so it's been pretty back-to-back for not only the athletes, but the team and the judges and everyone involved.
There's a lot of, I'm sure, nervous, tired bodies with the quick turnaround. Big shout-out to all of the crew here just off camera who scrambled to get from yesterday's venue, which was T1 North, to today's venue. A lot of you may be very familiar with today's venue. We are looking at the Ozone Face. You may know it from the Free Ride World Tour. So let's talk about the Challenger Series. For those of you that didn't see the other two live streams, we'll kind of give you a little heads up on kind of how it all works. So the Challenger Series is basically a playoff. So a lot of these riders kind of work their way up through the Challengers. Some of these riders were on the FWT this year, and they ended up getting cut. They both meet here on the 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series by Orage. It's kind of like a 3-event playoff.
Absolutely, the best 2 out of 3 scores will count to not only winning the the America's Championship, but as well as qualifying for the Freeride World Tour. And you are right, Mark. Athletes are competing in the series 1 through 4 stars to earn points to get up to this event to be invited to Challengers. And that series actually starts down in South America this past summer. So starting, in July is when these athletes started building their ranking points to get here today.
Absolutely. So, Kicking Horse in the town of Golden, BC. Let's give a little bit of information for some of you folks here. Kicking Horse is actually the champagne powder capital of Canada and boasts some of the most shoot skiing and, in my opinion, some of the best shoot skiing in Canada. This place is, if you're an experienced skier and you like it and after it, this is definitely the place to go. There's about 20% beginner terrain, 20% immediate terrain, and 45% advanced terrain. And we're going to be watching some really advanced terrain today.
Absolutely. And they have 120 plus runs, 5 alpine bowls, and 85 chutes with 5 different lifts. And it was actually my first time ever skiing here yesterday, and so it was exciting to get to drop into this backside and see a little bit more here. And my goodness, it is gorgeous here at Kicking Horse.
Yeah, this place is awesome, and it is no stranger to freeride. They have a long history of hosting amazing competitions here. Back in the early days of Wrangle the Chute, which were pretty rowdy. We watched the video the other day with the mechanical bull. That was part of the competition. You'd ski a run, and then you'd have to ride the bull, and you get points for that. That doesn't really happen anymore, but it was a great kind of place to start. They've done everything from 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, the FWT, as well as junior competitions also. So I want to give you a little information about the Ozone here. So the Freeride World Tour was here in Kicking Horse for 8 years, from 2018 to 2025, and they did 6 FWT Kicking Horse events because they missed one for, pardon me, 7 FWT Kicking Horse events, but they missed one after COVID. But they also restaged a Hakuba event here, their very first season, 2018. So they're good at restaging as well, because what we did yesterday with the Kirkwood event.
And their team has been so flexible, too, and accommodating and really working with our technical director, who's in charge of managing the safety of the event to making sure that all the athletes are safe, everything is working well, venue-wise, and was really accommodating to everyone wanted to ski here at Ozone today. And it took a lot of work to prep this venue and get ready for it to be skiable today for competition, and it is just that. We're looking at it, it's gorgeous, the athletes are ready to go, and it is going to be quite the show today.
Absolutely, and I know a lot of the riders have been watching past FWT competitions from here, and I am looking. I've been to every single one of them, and I'm looking at this face today, and I don't think I have ever seen it as filled in as I have now. Kicking Horse has had a spectacular season with snowfall this year, and we are excited to see what the athletes have in store, because I know. I've heard some whisperings. I've overheard some conversations. I've had some direct conversations. I know that they have a few tricks up their sleeves, and it is going to be absolutely bonkers. So we're glad you're here with us watching on freeskier.com. My name is Mark Warner. This is Rachel Shannon, and I just stepped on her toes while she was going to tell us what her name was. My apologies.
I'm still Rachel Shannon. It's okay.
We're going to go to a little break to tell you who some of our sponsors are, and we'll be back with you shortly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the live stream, and we are getting started with today's Forerunner.
And our Forerunner was actually the winner of the event yesterday, David Peatfield. He won as an event wild card yesterday and is opening up the slopes today to just set the tone for the judges, give them a minute to really make sure they're all on the same page and feeling consistent, and with a huge air to start off the top. And he's not an athlete in the competition today, but just setting the tone for what we're going to see.
So the role of the Forerunner is to be able to relay information back to the riders at the top. He's going to get down to the bottom. He's going to hop on the radio, and he's going to give his feedback what he felt on the run. Hey, this section of the course is a little crusty, maybe a little sun crust. This section of the course is fantastic. When you get to this spot, open it up. Or on this landing, maybe it was a little punchy, or maybe it was perfect. Go for it. So the riders were on slope yesterday. We're going to give you folks a little bit of information of how the riders actually inspect the course. There's several different ways to do it, and you're the expert at that. So we'll give you a little information further on. But for this instance, first thing in the morning, they don't get on course first thing in the morning. So it's up to the forerunners to relay that information to the riders so that they know what to expect.
So they actually did get on course this morning and had an inspection.
Oh, for real?
They did, yes.
Shows how much I know.
Things run a little bit differently in Region 2 because we do have different parameters that we have to work by compared to Region 1, which is Europe, Oceania, Asia. So we have, other insurance policies we have to keep in mind. So the athletes were able to get on course, feel the conditions underneath their feet. But Mark, like you were saying, the forerunner is an opportunity for the tone to be set, for some more information to be gathered. But when the athletes are inspecting, they are not hitting their airs. They are not allowed to practice their line, session it. They're really just up there to gather information. And here we have our second forerunner. She is Kaylin Griffin. She competed yesterday as a wild card as well. And I got to have a long chat with her after the event, and she really embodies the spirit of freeride. She just understands the drive it takes and what it means to be a free rider, and she's coming back from an injury, and we had a long chat about how that takes a play into the mental game of coming back into competition. And she had a really great run yesterday, really strong skiing. We're saying another athlete and I saying, the mountain kind of moves around her. She's just so powerful in her turn shape and turn quality. It's really fun to watch Kaylin ride.
Ah, very cool. She is a freeride fan. I actually met Kaylin in Andorra this year. I was there covering the World Championships with the Freeride Guide podcast, and got to know her a little bit. We went for a ski one day, ended up kind of up climbing into and skiing a great little couloir. So it was great to get to know her, and it was great to see her again. And she is getting the day started as a forerunner here at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort on the ozone face.
Awesome. Yes, she came down the Darwin 3 chute at the end there as we orient ourselves with all the different features we have here on the ozone face, and just really excited to see the creativity these athletes are going to put behind their skiing and riding today.
Absolutely. It is blue. It is beautiful. It's not too cold, even though we're both puffed up big time. And everybody here is just fired up. We're dialed in. This is our third of 3. Last week we had the event in Whitewater. Yesterday we had it here at Kicking Horse, but on a completely different venue, north-facing venue, T1 North. And now we've got Ozone, the south-facing venue. So it'd be interesting to see if that plays into anyone's runs. Yesterday there was cloud that was coming in and out, and we noticed that certain riders' runs that were in the sun were different, or basically riders that took the same line in the sun versus riders that took the same line when the light got a little flat were actually very different in how they approached it.
Absolutely, and that just plays such a huge part into freeride is you don't get to decide when you drop. You are given a time to be there, and you have to manage what you do with the conditions you're given. So it is really interesting to see how the athletes prepare for, am I going to go earlier in the day when the weather and the conditions look like this, or am I later in the day, and how that changes their strategy in their skiing.
Right, so a lot of these riders they know exactly what they want to do. And in some areas, especially big faces, similar to under the Waimea Peak, which we did in Whitewater, it's easy to get lost. With a face that big, you got to find out where is my landmark. It is a little easier when you get to go on slope for inspection, but it's still possible to get lost. I know I get lost on my own mountain that I ski at every single day. Every once in a while, I'm like, oh wait, oh no, I'm in the wrong spot.
That should have been a left.
Yeah, oh goodness. Where did I go? Where did my friends go?
And it takes, so much preparation for them to be able to really put down what they want to do. And our first rider in the gate is going to be Liliana Houston. She placed 3rd yesterday on T1 North.
And it looks like she is dropping in.
She's coming to you from Mount Snow, Vermont and A-Basin, Colorado. So she's got the East Coast, the West Coast, and we're going to see what she's going to do here today at Kicking Horse. She is making some turns through this top section here. It looks like she's coming straight into the Ozone Bowl. And she's cruising through here. Still up at the top. This honestly is such a huge face. It doesn't seem...
It looks quite big, but it's actually quite compact.
And that's what I was going to say, is that, you know, it looks so grand, but then once you really get into the meat of it, it really just is feature after feature.
Yeah, it's a really, really quick one. It's one of those faces. So it's a nice contrast to the other two that we've had, whereas Wymer Peak was you have a section with features, and then a big, long traverse where you can, contemplate life and have a think, maybe have a rest, and then there's another section of features. Whereas with Kicking Horse here, it's one after another after another. You have to hit them quickly, and you have to hit them in succession and not put a foot out of step because you may miss the next one. So they're very, very limited.
And here comes Liliana into this feature, grabbing some air and taking it straight to her feet, controlling her speed on that heel side edge as she continues her way down. Lincoln, another turn there as she makes her way, trying to figure out exactly where she wants to go for this bottom section.
Is she going left? Is she going right? Is she going through the middle? Only she knows, but we'll find out. Just setting her board up so she knows she's in the right position for this next feature.
And she's in between Darwin chute 2 and 3 right now in this rocky section we have here towards the bottom of the venue. She's lining it up.
Getting a little gnarly. Billy Goatin into this section. I'm excited to see what we have. You can see the snow cascading off the front there. This is a mandatory air. Oh, and just kind of sinks in, punches in, but gets right back at her board and continues on.
Cruising into the corral.
Big points from me. That was really, really committed, getting right in there. Way to start the competition off, Liliana.
Arms in the air, too. She seems fired up. It is really just an honor to be here and ski on something like that. And I think these athletes really understand the amplitude of this face they're skiing on today, as it has quite a bit of freeride history here. And we are running a dual panel today again. So that means panel A, which just judged Liliana, has 3 judges. And now panel B is going to judge our first ski woman, Hannah Baldwin. She placed 2nd yesterday and 1st at Whitewater.
Yeah, Hannah Baldwin is sitting 1st overall. So on this 3-event series, your top 2 go towards your title. So basically it's best 2 out of 3. So she is currently sitting in 1st place with 6,650 points, just ahead of Delila Quinn. So a 1st and a 2nd. And you got to think, if she gets a 1st or a 2nd here, it's almost clinched, I would think.
Absolutely. She's making her way far skiers right. Caught a little air there, and she's ripping some turns into another feature, it looks like. Going to pop out behind that rock in a second here. Oh, there you see her.
So she's just cutting across the slope underneath what is known as the Taj Mahal spine. And she's got a nice big air. Oh, boom, sends it to bolts, cross court. And now she's going to try and cut right back into the bottom of this lower feature. Looks like she doesn't quite have enough. So Hannah Baldwin with a good air right at the top, carving turns down here into the bottom venue. She's got to be happy with that.
And what a way to start off the competition for our ski women, too. She is fired up, ready to go. I would call that a very successful line. And this means we're going to move back to panel A, back to our snowboard women. Tegan Riley Turner will be our next athlete to drop. We can see her right there in the start gate. Tegan's coming to you from Crested Butte, Colorado. Crested Butte Mountain Sports Team is how she got into freeride.
There we go. And you got to think that some of them are nervous. This is this is like make or break today. Some of these riders, there's a lot of really close riders in all categories. So you put down a good run today, there's a good chance you are moving on. It's a good chance you become the Challenger Series champion. And the prize for that is you get to move on to the Free Ride World Tour for 2027. 4 ski men, 2 ski women, 2 snowboard men, and 1 snowboard woman moves on to the tour next year and has the title of Challenger Champion.
Absolutely, and Tegan Riley-Turner is no stranger to the world stage because she actually won the Junior World Tour in 2024. So Tegan has experience competing at that high level, and I'm so excited to see what she's going to do with this face.
Absolutely. As you see the Western Canada Free Ride flag gently blowing in the wind next to that Kicking Horse Champagne Powder Capital of Canada flag. You can see all the riders staged right there at the top of Ozone, ready to roll. And here we go. Tegan Riley-Turner dropping in. And she is going to be cruising down, skiers right down along the ridge. And we're going to see her pop out fairly soon, I would believe. This is always nice to see. They can get a couple of little turns, get their feet under them, take a deep breath. You know, they've got the adrenaline running through their bones. And this is, nice air in off the cornice. Not quite the landing she'd hoped for, and then popped off a little debris, it looks there. Let's see what she can do from here.
You know, I wonder how that sets the tone, too, versus yesterday. They dropped into almost immediate steep. And today, like we saw Tegan, a lot of athletes have the opportunity to get some warm-up turns in on that traverse up top on the ridgeline. So I wonder how that kind of sets the tone for them and if that makes a difference as they really get rolling into their run.
Yeah, you got to think being able to move your board underneath you just a little bit before you get going has to be, like, it's got to feel great. Okay, here we go. I'm feeling good. Game on, drop in, let's go.
Yeah, that second to lock in, I'm sure makes a difference. So here she comes into our pyramid here.
So this is the George Rodney Pyramid, named after George Rodney, who boosted off the nose back in 2018, the first time the FWT was here at Kicking Horse. And she finds a great little air off the side, controls her speed, and now it's all about shredding some turns back down to the finish corral. And just below her, you can't quite see it on the live stream that we're looking at, but we're looking at the face. The cornices above, a few of them have slid during that last, warm weather period. So there's a lot of debris, and I believe that's just to the outskirts of the venue that's open for these riders today. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. The Taj Mahal feature that was actually opened up upon athlete request with some collaboration between the technical director and safety team here at Kicking Horse, that they wanted it open. So it was really cool to see that engagement between athletes and safety team, and that will be our boundary line, which is far skiers right. Tegan getting all the hugs at the bottom. I'm sure so excited to make it down. And back up top, dual panel, the action never stops. We have Brida Wynins dropping in.
So right into this event with Brida Wynins, who I believe has skied here before on the FWT last season. So she may have a little unfair advantage.
Absolutely. I mean, she's warmed up. She earned that spot, too. So I bet she is so happy to be back and show off what she can do here. Our Tahoe rider dropping into the cornice right now with an air to
Big air. Big air to stomp. You can tell she's comfortable here. Well done. That was really, really impressive.
100%. That was so clean and smooth. Really awesome to set that tone for her line here today.
And she got to the tour last year by winning the Challengers.
Coming up to another feature here. Popping to her feet with a turn out of it. What a smooth transition into that landing.
And then this is where that insider knowledge comes in handy, because she's been able to get 2 features so far and managed to find a 3 with another solid air, puts it down comfortably, and now it's just big bad turns right down to the bottom. So 3 really good features. Got to be happy with that.
Absolutely, and I'd say comfortable is such a good word to use for that line that she chose. She just looked so strong and intentional and knew exactly what she wanted, and she did just that.
All right, Brida Wynins got a smile on her face. Probably happy with that run.
And heading back up to the top for our next snowboard female, Jamie Figueira.
Jamie Figueira sitting in 5th place overall. She wants to take that title herself. Sorry, pardon me, sitting in 4th place overall. Excuse me, pardon me, Jamie. We're just blowing it today. We're just so fired up on Freeride, and we're excited for this last day and excited to bring this competition to you. So, it's funny? We were talking about all the nerves the athletes have at the top, and they have that little moment to maybe get their board underneath them, their skis underneath them, and calm down. Maybe after a few riders, we need to settle in ourselves, because I am absolutely fired up for what today is going to be.
Absolutely, and I have to say, when I got up that last Stairway to Heaven lift and really got to see over for the first time the amplitude of this venue and just how grand the whole scenery is, you can't help but get fired up about it. There's just something really special in the air. I think it being the last stop of the series too, it's just, you can feel the energy here at Kicking Horse.
Absolutely. I love that you're just experiencing this for the first time. So yesterday you just got up and went straight to the judging tent and skied right down. The ride here was your second trip, and you're still seeing all this new terrain. I'm really excited for you to be able to ski here as well, because it is really fun.
And here we have Jamie dropping into the top. Making her way more riders left to the venue in that ozone bowl up top.
So sitting in fourth place overall, she's had 2 5-place finishes. That's why I thought she might have been in fifth.
And consistency here in her riding too, which is really great to see. A lot of this isn't just about how strong of a rider you are, but it's your consistency and able to show off that strength, which she is doing here with that first air.
Great little air. So I got to ask you a question. So with the IFSA, there is the top 3 podium, but then there's also a 4th and 5th place that goes up. Can you explain that for me?
Absolutely. And so the 4th and 5th place is really to showcase how hard it is to make that top 5. And here comes Jamie real fast coming in for another one, getting a little bite off that side there, linking it to another turn. And so the athletes that are just underneath the cut will re-qualify for the Challenger Series next year. And I don't have the exact percentage of how many athletes come back, but that means they don't have to start over in the 4 stars to build their ranking. The IFSA looks at them and says, you were consistent, and we see that. Just like Jamie's being here, she lines up her next feature.
Looks like she's going to drop into this chute here. Getting a little hung up. There you go. Finding that little transition out. And getting through this little steep section right through the center couloir.
Linking some more turns as she, hops back on that heel edge and toe. We love to see it.
So this looks like it's going to be her 4th feature on this run. So just kind of linking them together. Maybe wants a little bit more fluidity, but she's getting through it and making sure that she gets all of these little components of the run, because they just add your line score, does it not?
Absolutely. Every time an athlete bites off another feature, it is building that line score, and all the features have a numerical value that only the judges know the exact number, but that builds towards their line score. And the other 4 execution categories, control, technique, fluidity, and style, are all based around that line score number. So Jamie at the bottom, board off. I'm sure she's taking a deep breath and is just so stoked to have that run behind her.
So that's really cool. So not only do the top riders, as I mentioned, the numbers that I have mentioned that move on to the FWT, there's also a select number of riders that already automatically punch their ticket to the Challengers next year. So there is, I'm not going to call it a consolation prize, but it's really important, because the last thing you want to do is grind on the 4-star all season when you can get right to it. As we see Marika Hansen, they are absolutely charging.
I love Marika's turns. I think I talked about this the last 2 stops too. They're just so powerful and driven behind their skis, and you can see they really arc them and are just laying them down left and right.
With the ski racing background, you can definitely see it. This is the fastest we've seen anybody take this face so far.
So much power behind Marika's skiing. They were down in Argentina this year as well, really starting to kick off that series and just hungry for it. You can see it in their riding.
Well, they've got something awesome lined up here. Nice little air into this little dogleg turn through that little buttress. And now blasting to the bottom. Fastest run of the day so far by Marika.
Absolutely. Marika really setting that fluidity tone to show the judges that they are fast, they are furious, and ready to shred it from top to bottom. That was an awesome run from Marika. And unfortunately, our next athlete is not going to start. Isadora Aguirre we're going to send her all the love today because she was unable to make it to the competition. So that means we are going to skip our athlete on panel A, and another ski woman will drop momentarily once the panel A judges are ready. And we can see the wind up top here. I really wonder what the conditions are like. There was some talk about it being smoother up top and really good, and then it got a little chunkier towards the bottom. So yesterday, I remember talking to some of the athletes after and seeing all the snow fly up, and I was like, oh, it looks so soft and so good. But talking to some of them, they said it was a little more challenging than it may have appeared on camera.
Yeah, and actually, so on the ozone face here, the organizers, the mountain, actually had it closed to the public for quite a while, getting prepared for this. They had a good 40-centimeter dump, and then they had a sunny day, and the sun's solar radiation melted it a little bit. So you had a little bit of melt freeze crust, just enough to cause problems. So they've been discussing whether they're going to compete on this face for a few days, every day going up and checking, and then they opened it up to the public so they could get skis on there and actually break up that crust and make it a little bit more accessible for these riders. So it's kind of unfortunate they didn't get that pristine slope, but without doing the work in order to get it manageable, they wouldn't have been able to run here. We would have chosen another venue, which Kicking Horse has a lot of them, but this is the crown. This is the one you want to see. This is the one the riders want to be on.
Absolutely, and it is that call of the technical director and the safety team to decide what is best for the conditions for the athletes. Sometimes it is fully closing the venue off, making sure it's untouched, but sometimes you need some extra traffic to, like you said, Mark, break through that crust and make it more accessible, fun, and safe, and able to navigate it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think the reason that we have this little gap is because of the dual panel, which you explained. So actually, explain the dual panel for us right now, because the judges need a minute, because well, I'll let you explain it.
Absolutely. So with they're going to drop they drop snowboard women, ski women, back and forth. Again, separate panels, separate set of judges. But since we have an athlete that unfortunately couldn't make it last second, instead of moving the start list and shuffling everyone up one, they decided it was easier to just let panel B take the minute to judge, continue on to keep the flow that was originally intended with the start list.
Well explained. Well explained. So we are going to get to this in just a moment as we're waiting for a word. And I wonder if we're going to get you to a little ad from one of our sponsors here in just a moment.
And yet we are back to our skier. We have Chloe Hare on venue. Chloe is dropping in along the ridge line, it looks like. Getting those warm-up turns like we talked about.
Here's another rider that was on the FWT last year and someone who has ridden this face before as well.
Chloe Hare coming to you from Telluride, Colorado.
So she's got some nice speed coming down the ridge here, and I wonder if she's going to get to the edge and boost, or if she's going to have a little peak and creep in. Oh, yeah, it looks like she's creeping in right above this Taj Mahal spine. Lining up her entrance. As you can see, it's pretty gnarly right there.
A lot of consequence below her. It looks quite sharky. There are definitely a few rocks in there.
Absolutely. Over the years, you've seen amazing runs by Marcus Eder, Craig Murray, Tanner Hall in this exact section. Oh, wow. Really, really, really amazing turns. That is pure free ride. Steep, deep, high consequence. Amazing entrance by Chloe Hare. That was fantastic. As she cruises in to the side of the George Rodney Pyramid, gets a little air off the side slope of it as she cuts back to this lower feature.
Absolutely. Looks like she is not done yet. She's got one more lined up for us here. Coming in and catching it to her feet. That was awesome. Yeah, at the top, I really felt like you could feel her thinking exactly where she wanted to go and drop in. And well worth the time, because that was so smooth and so successful top to bottom. Great job, Chloe.
Yeah, that was a really, really amazing drop in right there. Definitely the highest consequence.
Absolutely, and the judges take that into consideration when they're scaling the venue for line. Just because a feature's big doesn't mean it's always worth the most, because if there's another feature that has higher consequences below it and the conditions and all those things are being taken into consideration when the judges are deciding, you know, what is this feature worth? What do we assign that? But back up to the top, we have Michelle Locke on venue, our event wild card.
Michelle Locke is riding out of Banff Mountain Norquay, and in 2020 she herself was on the Freeride World Tour, and she is coming back to put down another run, making an appearance as a veteran, a legend in the sport.
Getting some nice turns there in the Ozone Bowl. Big open area to really showcase what they have and really warm up the tone for their line. Michelle making her way towards, oh, little bobble there, but back on her feet. Looks like she's lining up and figuring out exactly where she wants to go. Again, we talked about picking out those landmarks and making sure the athletes feel they have to make sure they know exactly where they're going and navigating one tree, one rock from each other to make sure they really have their path picked out.
So cruising over into this kind of central zone. It's a lot below her. So there's three or four little airs and chutes and cliffs that she can choose from. And let's see where she ends up.
Navigating her way, she's about mid-venue here now. A lot of complex trees and rocks going on here.
Making sure she's being very deliberate with her turns to know exactly where she is and where she's going as she cruises into this little section. It looks like she's going to hit this little chute right back into the funnel here.
Staying nice and controlled through this section, really making sure the board is working to exactly what she wants to do. Love to see the balance that she has here.
Little hop turn there, and from here it's a straight shot down to the corral.
Michelle Locke, our event wild card, gonna cruise her way to the corral.
So we've just made it through our first page. So today we have a total of, is it 79 or 80 riders today? Off the top of my head, looks like we have 80 riders today. That's a big field, and that's one of the reasons we do the dual panel as well. So you can get through it a lot quicker. One group of judges takes care of one category. Another group of judges does the alternate category. Back and forth and back and forth. Rapid fire, not only for the riders, but for you watching at home. It's much better to have a 2.5, 3 hour comp than a 5 or 6 hour competition, especially when you have this many riders.
Absolutely, and Hannah Melanchuk on course now, ripping her legendary, iconic Hannah Melanchuk turns. I love watching her ski. Catching a bop there through the top. Hannah is such a strong, powerful, technical skier coming in with a clean air. I love to see her balance as she rides. And she's currently sitting third overall right now. So big day for Hannah to really showcase what she can do.
Yeah, third overall with a fifth and a sixth. Fifth in Whitewater and a sixth in Nelson. Oh, pardon me, in yesterday's Kirkwood restage here in Kicking Horse.
Hannah is just ripping up this venue, really showing that strong tech skiing she has as she lines up something here for us. I can feel it.
Cruising into this little zone right off the side here. Oh, very, very smooth. And then, bam, right into some turns. Great control on that downhill edge, just so she can hit this next feature right to her feet. Really, really nice. More of a fall line kind of run from Hannah.
Very linked. I liked her flow in between features, especially in that last section there. You know, she could have ripped out to the bottom, but she was like, I am not done yet. I've got one more to show it off, and she did just that.
Yeah, excellent. Really nice flow. That's what stood out for me here, is she knew exactly where she needed to go. It was one to the next, on to the next, on to the next. Really no hesitation. She kind of knew exactly where she was, and she managed it perfectly.
Absolutely. I hope she is so proud of that one, because that was so fun to watch Hannah go.
Big Han, she likes to be called. All right.
And back up, Panel A is ready for Kaia Hannipin, our Tahoe rider.
So we asked the riders, while you're getting ready to drop in, what are you listening to in your headphones? And that's one of my favorite questions we've asked in a long time. And Hannah is probably rocking Hollaback Girl by Gwen Stefani as we speak, as she drops into the ozone face.
Here comes Kaia, getting ready to set the tone for her run. Heading over further riders left. We can see her make her way along the traverse, traversing with a purpose, as we like to call it, heading towards something. Kaia is such a strong rider. I love watching her ride, and just the sweetest person, too. She's coming off of a partial ACL tear from this year, too, so she's mentioned, it's been difficult for her to navigate the injury and if she was going to be able to make it to challengers, but it takes so much confidence to come back and be driven in something like this. So excited to see Kaia here bite off her first feature and control it to the heel edge and link some turns.
Yeah, I was actually unaware of that. So the fact that she was dealing with a partial ACL tear this season and now she's competing in the challengers, it is definitely a feat of strength in my book. A really, really awesome job to kind of overcome something like that and have the confidence, because that's really a lot of what free riding is being able to have the confidence in your riding, in your strength of your body, and to have those like lingering, nagging doubts in the back of your mind really doesn't help when competing at a high level like this. So the full credit from me.
Absolutely. Like you said, it's not just the strength, but also the mental game to come and show back up and trust not only your body, but your mind to be able to ride at this level. So, Kaia, we love watching you ride. We're so stoked to see you here. And she's making her way towards the bottom section, navigating through these little trees we can see here on the venue. Kaia looks like she's lining up something for us here. Trying to point exactly where she wants to go. Maybe getting a little, not quite sure where her line exactly was.
Yeah, it looks like she's got a little bit caught up there on her heel edge, got stuck in the slough a little bit. That helps find her route back down, back into the fall line, picking up some speed and working her way down. Yeah, it seems with some of the snowboarders here so far, it seems like they're having a little bit of trouble, and I wonder if it's snow conditions. I wonder if it's the aspect, like the slope, the steepness of the slope. Because it seems like they're having a little bit of fluidity issues this morning. We'll have to see how that plays out now that the sun is on the face. It's warming up a little bit, and we will definitely have some condition changes throughout the day.
We have Abriel Bertzky on course, our Argentinian rider.
In her headphones, she's rocking Cream. Cash rules everything around me. Get the money. Dollar bills, y'all, by the Wu-Tang Clan. Perhaps we should make a Spotify playlist, a Challenger Rider Spotify playlist.
I'd say that would be a pretty hype list to listen to. And here comes Abriel getting ready to line up exactly where she wants to go in this top section. Making some turns.
So there's the opportunity through if you're skiing fall line right from the top straight through the middle. There's an opportunity for a few features right at the top, and then kind of work your way through the bowl, and then find another one just like that, controlling her speed really nicely and working her way over into this next little section. So nice little ramp down into this chute. Looks like she kind of thinks she's gonna. Oh, there's a nice little pop there. Hey, a little bigger than I thought it looked.
I know it can be a little deceiving. You're like, oh, that rock doesn't look so big compared to the rest of the venue, but really how they line it up and take air off of it is always so exciting to see. And a lot of creativity behind it.
Yeah, taking a big arcing turn out of there. It looked like she might have been trying to hit the bottom of that neck spine over. Maybe missed it a little bit, but really holding on as she's bombing out the bottom here. We are about 13 riders in, 12 riders in. Like I said, we have 80 today, and we're dropping in hot and fast.
Abriel at the bottom, successful run behind her. Getting all the love from the freeride family at the bottom. We love to see it. Our next athlete is going to be Emma Hall, snowboard women. Emma is coming to you from Schweitzer, Idaho.
Emma Hall is currently sitting in top spot on the Challenger Series so far, with a second on the podium in Whitewater and a fourth yesterday here at the Kirkwood restage. So you got to think if she puts down a podium run, there's a good chance that she's moving on. But behind her on the list, we have Audrey Hebert, who's in second place, who basically she has 3 former Freeride World Tour riders not far behind her. Audrey Hebert, Natalie Alport, Katie Anderson won the first event. Jamie Figueroa is right there as well. So it is a tightly contested series, and it's all going to come down today. So she really wants to put down a good run. She already has 2 great results, but it's the top 2 out of 3. So she has a second and a fourth. She's going to want to put down a first here, or a second.
Absolutely, and Emma has one of my favorite styles. She just has this very balanced, kind of casual style, like lean to her. It's so fun to watch her ride. She just looks so smooth on her snowboard.
So Lincoln turns down through the Ozone Bowl here. And we are going to see what she has in store for us.
She wants to give a big shout out to her friend Lydia Nelson, former World Tour rider that got her into freeride. Emma catching a pop there through that section up top. Getting ready to link some more turns. There she goes.
Ooh, little, looks like the conditions there are a little tricky. You can see her getting kind of popped around on her board a little bit.
Absolutely. I think they're definitely harder than they are appearing right now on camera or from even just looking up at the face. You know, it looks consistent throughout, but I bet that is not the case for what the riders are seeing.
Now, the technical director, as we mentioned earlier, did have, there is a little bit of a crust on the slope, and it is still early in the morning. It's about -7 or 8 Celsius here. She's getting into a little bit of a technical zone here, trying to find her exit, finding her feature that she's either wanting to hit or find her exit.
Emma lining up exactly where she wants to be. She is definitely, like you said, Mark, a techie section. There is some consequence below her, so really, it's so important that she makes the exact decision she wants as she rides through the chute there.
Yeah, a little turn. Ended up getting caught up on her heel edge there in one of the ridges, but she makes it through and then cuts around to this lower last little air. And there she goes.
To her feet. And the home stretch for Emma now. She can see the corral below her. Looping it into the bottom.
And Emma is listening to either Motorhead or Rihanna. I guess it just depends on the mood. Those are very, very different vibes, so I guess it just depends on how she's feeling today.
Hugs at the bottom from Kaia. All of the friends.
They look really bad. No, I did the one beside it and
All right, so next up we have Michaela Sha Willis out of Park City, Utah. Michaela threw a backflip at the end of her run and got a little shaken up today. So a little shaken up. So it's actually a great thing that we're getting to see her on course today as well. Really happy to see her back on her skis.
Absolutely. Here she comes dropping in onto the course. Michaela warming up some turns as she heads into the Ozone Bowl, catching some air there off the top.
Skiing with intention today. Got a little bit of speed under her, cranking some turns as she heads over into this little traverse. Nice air. Kind of a little wind lip zone, and then quick cut back into this thing. Looking for features. Looking really, really smooth on her edges here today.
She's got such a powerful lean in her turn as well. It's so fun to watch the women ride with such intention and technicality behind their skiing. And Michaela is definitely showing that off. She worked so hard to get here all season, and she is just ready to throw it down.
So she's over on the skier's left side of the slope here. Finding a great little rock to pop off of. This is a great line because it seems to be another one. So a lot of the riders have been riding zones where there are, I guess, more prominent features. Whereas this line she's taking has a lot of little ones that you can just continually do to build your line score.
Absolutely, and she is hunting for it through this section of the Darwin's 2 chute right now.
Yeah, hunting for it. That's a good way of putting it. Looks like she's hunting these features right now.
Really picking off what she can find, and she's coming into this last section here on the venue.
Another great air, picking up speed, great control out of there, and then rocking to the bottom. She's going to be happy with that run. Redeemed,
absolutely. That was really strong skiing out of Michaela. Big congrats to her. There she is at the bottom, nodding her head, clapping her hands. Oh, I hope she's so proud of that one. That was really fun to watch. Taking a huge deep breath. I'm sure she's just very thankful and proud to have that behind her.
Okay, next up we have Natalie Alport in the start gate. Natalie Alport was on the FWT this season. Due to a couple allergy incidents, she ended up in the hospital before both of the events that she was able to ride in. So she wasn't at her best. She won 2 of the Challenger events last season and ended up getting basically advancing onto the tour because she was the Challenger champion. So she didn't get to ride exactly how she wanted to. So far in these events at Whitewater, she had a 7th, and yesterday at the Kicking Horse, the Kirkwood restage here in Kirkwood, she won the event, first place. She is currently sitting in 2nd overall under Emma Hall. So she needs to put down something big today. She's not far away from the top spot, so she needs to put down a run that she knows that she can, and we are about to see what she can do.
All right, Natalie getting ready to drop in. A former slopestyle competitor competing in World Cups for slopestyle.
Oh, my apologies. I misspoke. She was 2nd yesterday at the Kirkwood restage. So she had a 7th and a 2nd, and she's currently sitting 3rd overall. Excuse me.
And 2nd's still a great place to be for Natalie right now as she is ripping turns through this ozone section. Making her way far riders left towards the Darwin area.
Former slopestyle competitor as well, with a little air right there and coming out with quite a bit of pace.
Absolutely. She just has such control over her board. You can see it in her stance and in her riding, and the way she's able to link turns so fluidly. Through the same area, we saw some other riders make some fewer turns. So having that control over her board, being able to link all of them together shows such strong intention behind her snowboarding with
nice
another
air. There we go. Linking together some really, really good features. And riding a little bit faster than we've seen a lot of the snowboard women today as well. And then you can tell this is where it gets a little uneven. All those riders that went on, maybe that little crust is still a bit there, but she's actually navigating it quite quickly. Cruising down on her heel edge, lining up her next feature here.
Getting ready to point out exactly where she wants to take it and then pointing the board to her feet.
Oh, and great control on that edge. Great job. Gets back on her toe edge. She's going to be happy with that. And then she's cruising into this bottom section here. Another big air. Going for the grab. Holding on. Great run, Natalie Alport. She absolutely wants her spot back.
Absolutely. That was one of the faster runs that we've seen for snowboard women. So really exciting to see that level and that strength behind Natalie's riding.
I think she just put the rest of the category on notice. She's getting hugs from her friends and catching her breath.
All right, next we have Jenna Myers coming to you from Snowboard, Utah. Jenna is on course.
Snowboard, Utah?
Snowbird, Utah.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, my goodness. And she's on snowblades. Do we have a snowblade category?
I'm going to count that for style.
This is absolutely fantastic. We did not know this was going to happen. I am really excited about this.
Oh, and keeping the free ride, keeping it fun, keeping it interesting.
Keeping the vibes high. Here she comes into our view.
Jenna keeping it so fun. We love to see it.
Oh, this is amazing.
This truly feels like a for the soul run.
I
for
think we
Jenna.
need to add another character. Oh yeah, get a sweet pop over that tree. I wonder who she's riding for. Oh, look out! And you know what's great about these snowblades in these competitions? If you get into a point where you're a little uncomfortable, you can just start walking to your next feature.
Here she comes, finding the balance in it. I'm sure. I feel like I can feel the smile radiating off of her, just being like, "Yep, I'm on blades. I'm skiing the Ozone Bowl, and it's a great time."
Yeah, ripping the ozone on snowblades. First time I've seen it. Another big air. And to be honest with you, is there a rule that these are? Is there like anything in the rule book saying that these aren't skis?
You know, Mark, that's a great question because I don't think this is in the handbook, but I did have a buddy do the same thing at the Powder Mountain 3-star. He was like, you know what, I'm bringing out the blades, so always fun to see, again, the free behind free ride in it.
Yeah, right? Like, what is the mandatory equipment that's needed?
2 skis on your feet to finish.
Yeah, this counts. I'd say this counts.
She is sliding on snow, so, you know, she's clicked into binding, she is sliding on the snow, and
she's finding features that you can't really hit on a pair of skis.
And making quick work of that on snowblades, too. So I bet the crowd is fired up on that one. Jenna has her arms out. She seems stoked. That is just quite the adventurous run for Jenna.
Wings out as she runs to the finish line. Oh, amazing. Keeping the vibes high. Jenna Myers.
Next up, we have Kiana Putman.
From Ski Talk, Alaska. I just like saying Ski Talk.
Ski Talk, Alaska.
That's what I do.
We talk ski, we do.
Ski Talk on the Free Ride Guide podcast. You're going to get all of the recap, all the news, all the discussion, and all the information on the FWT and the Challenger Series with myself and FWT host, Derek Foose.
Kiana coming into the Ozone Bowl, catching some air there at the top, and controlling that speed with her heel edge, linking another turn there. Kiana heading far towards riders left of the venue. Looks like she's lining up this first feature here that we've seen a lot of the other women hit. And going to take a bite to her feet. Link it with another turn. As a skier, it's so fun to watch those snowboarders have those really surfy turns, and it looks so free, so fun. We love watching our snowboard friends.
All right, she's working over into this little spot that we just saw Michaela picking off, basically hunting features, hunting little airs, hunting little pops. And she is linking turns really nicely through this section. As you can see, as we mentioned, there was a bit of a crust on here, so they let the public come and kind of chop it up a little bit, so you can actually see it's affecting them in some spots. She's working her way right through this little chute, right back into Ozone Bowl, and you can see the run out is a little uneven, so controlling her speed so that you don't fly into the bowl and hit all those uneven ruts and get tossed around. So great board control.
Coming up with her another air there. I wanted to say her last one, but you know, that is not up to me. That is up to Kiana.
Yeah.
It looks like she might be aiming for one
Good
more.
save. Great save.
And I'm so glad she proved me wrong because that was so fun to see her really link that one to another and bite off another piece of line score.
We are here at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort at the base of the ozone face on this beautiful, beautiful sunny day. We're right beside our communications tent. We got the camera guys over here. Down to my right, we got Toby Barrett, who works for Kicking Horse Mountain Resort. We also got Tessa Treadway, local legend. I think Malto's around here somewhere. Is that correct? Malto's actually got a big jump down below us, and he is trying to practice to be one of these riders.
Kestrel Sullivan on course right now. Kestrel was second in our first stop at Whitewater.
Slashing a pow turn, getting a little air, slashing another turn. She is coming into this with intention.
Oh, so fast as she...
Kestrel with the front flip. Well done. Got it around, bounced off her butt, but huge credit from me. I'd like to see how they score that. Great job, Kestrel. Kestrel ended up on the second place at the Whitewater event.
And you know, I've said it, Kestrel has these tricks up her sleeve, and she didn't throw them down on the last 2 events, and that's because the athletes really have to decide when is the appropriate time to let it rip, and she really just put that down. So fun as she comes into her last feature here on the venue. I think she's got something else exciting for us here.
Huge and laces between the trees, straight line out to the bottom. What a run from Kestrel. She knows it, claiming it. We had her with a second place in the first event. She had a DNF yesterday. Remember, it's the best 2 of 3 runs, and she is absolutely hyped. Front flip at the top, massive air, straight line laced through the trees. What a great run from Kestrel. That is going to be hard to beat.
That was really exciting to watch. You know, we don't see a lot of front flips. We see a lot of the backies, but it's really unique to watch the ski women especially go for those tricks that aren't being used as much. And, you know, I mentioned it before. I've seen Kestrel training on the trampolines at Woodward, and her air awareness is just incredible. She's so dialed in the air and really got to show that off here. I'm so stoked for Kestrel. Very exciting. And back up to the top, Katie Anderson is dropping in.
All right, this is another big one to watch. So Katie Anderson, former Freeride World Tour champion. She came first at the Whitewater event, and she wants her spot back. So here she is, dropping in. Had a little bit of a bobble on some snow debris yesterday as she finds that little feature in the middle, gets a little caught up on her heel edge in a little bit of a rut there. We'll see what she has on the rest of her run. Katie Anderson, nice air, going for the grab. She's a former snowboard cross racer, so she is comfortable at speed.
Absolutely, and we're seeing that here as she's again making quick use of this venue. One of the faster snowboard women runs that we've seen so far. I think her and Natalie right now are the 2 fastest that we've seen.
Yeah, both competitors in different events, different disciplines, bringing their skills to freeride. She gets another little feature there and then blasts out the side and controls her speed.
She's about halfway down the venue now, making quick work of it and navigating through these little trees that we see here.
Looking really comfortable on her board through this section too. As she's rolling into this next zone, there's a couple big features in here. Let's see what Katie Anderson has for us today.
Right now, currently in the Darwin 2 chute, but lining up these features in between 2 and 1.
We've only seen one person drop through here so far. As she gets onto her board and straight lines out through the chute on her heel edge. Great control as she makes her way back down to the finish corral. Great run from Katie Anderson. We had a great run from Natalie Alport. I wouldn't want to be a judge today because both of them have great results. And as we know, for right now, only one snowboard woman moves on to the tour this year.
And I like that last feature that she hit because, you know, people think freeride is all about these huge airs, but Katie picked this more techie section that required a straight line. So the board was on the snow through that feature, but that still contributes to her line score. The judges know that it's not easy to straight line something techie like that. So that's something that I find so exciting about freeride is it's not just the biggest huck, it's that blend of techie hard terrain as well.
Yeah, and then I wonder, and maybe you'll be able to answer this to me, because we've watched a lot of the snowboard women really kind of struggling on their board through a lot of these sections. She was able to link her turns and actually control her speed quite well. So she went quite a bit faster, had a little bit more control. Does the former riders to drop, with having that speed issues, going a little slower, being a little bit more uncertain on their board, and then having Katie go down, do they compare the two when it comes to judging the overall?
So I'd say that would definitely contribute to the rider level. The rider level is that overall impression, and when someone can show that amplitude and that speed, that's going to bump their rider level up, which will contribute to their other 4 execution category scores, versus when they're a little slower, the rider level can be a little bit lower, again, contributing fewer points to those other categories.
Right.
And next we have Harriet Lucas on course.
We are just firing riders off left, right, and center. This is great, and Harriet is coming in with some heat.
In the Ozone Bowl, making quick work of that top section here.
Cranking a big turn to set her up for this next section. Nice, comfortable air to bolts, not a hair out of place, and then right back on her edge, keeping that speed up as she works her way back to this next section of features.
Coming in really clean here. She lines this one up, going through that techie section there. Making her way further skiers right into this big band here. There's a bunch of rocks, bunch of trees.
Hits a little diagonal chute. Carves another nice turn. She's got really nice exits.
Absolutely. She is so balanced and strong on her skis. Really good
Controls
edge control.
her speed, lands it perfectly. And is she going to be able to get a bonus there? No, she's cranking another big turn and speeding to the bottom.
Ripping the turns in. Harriet Lucas, so fast top to bottom. Very successful run out of Harriet.
Yeah, solid run. Absolutely. Great pace.
That was, I think, one of the faster ski women lines that we've seen today, too. She was really just laying in the turns left and right, top to bottom. That was fast.
That was really nice.
Our next athlete is going to be Megan Gard from Pacific Palisades and Mammoth Mountain. Megan is on course.
Linking some turns right at the top. She's like, I'm getting after it.
Making quick use of that top section, too. Laying down some turns. Showing really strong control over her snowboarding right now. Megan heads her way towards the Darwin section of the Ozone venue. Up on that high traverse there, she just dropped in. Looks like she's getting ready to head into Darwin 3. Gonna catch a bite of this pepper here.
Quick little jump turn to get on her toe edge, and then comes out on her heel edge just around that tree. Good control to get around that tree, because it's funny, when you have a run out and you see a tree, and you think, don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree, you're just putting it in your mind that you're going near the tree. So avoiding things like that, it's harder than you think.
Megan with another air to her feet there, controlling her speed out of it as she rips her way through the Darwin chute.
Really nice pace from Megan here as well.
Absolutely. She's very consistent on her riding and competing is something I've noticed with Megan. Is she's always throwing down lines that, she knows she can land, and that's something, like we talked about, is so important in free riding. It's not just about being the best, but it's about being consistent in your scores.
Right. Here she is creeping into this next little section here, right where Katie Anderson was.
A little further skiers left because it looks like Megan's going to bite off a little bit of air here. But, yeah, same feature, same section.
She is getting into a really, really consequential zone. Creeping down on her heel edge. Looks like she's going to potentially point it out here. This is a mandatory air.
No way out but air here for Megan. I think she's just trying to get exactly where she wants to be for a safe and solid execution on that run out.
Very nice. And she, even though she was going slow, creeping through there, she didn't stop. She didn't hesitate. It was a constant movement. She knew what she was doing. She had intention, and then rode it out perfectly. Great job.
Yeah, I wonder if it was just maybe a little choppy in there than she was expecting. Maybe a little more rocks or peppers. We're able to look up on the face. That was steep and gnarly and very techy.
Honestly, I think it's just the pitch. I think it's just a little steep, right? If she pointed it out there, where she exited is pretty much the best spot for her to go. If she had pointed it, she's either coming off to the right, our looker's right, rider's left, and boosting, and it may have been a little bit bigger than she was comfortable with, so that was exactly what she wanted to do, and she rode it out perfectly.
very calculated approach to that last section. Love to see it, Megan. Congrats on a successful run.
Snowboard women are putting on a show for us today.
Absolutely. I feel like they're, this is the last stop of the Challenger Series. It's really their chance to just say, I'm going to let it rip. I'm going to let it happen. And we are seeing that with all of our female athletes that are up top right now.
Next up, we got Kayla Constantini, another rider out of Whistler, BC, and one that we're also very happy to be seeing on slope today. Had a pretty gnarly crash, and is no worse for wear.
I saw her yesterday after awards, and I was like, hey, Kayla, how you feeling? And she just kind of giggled and was like, I'm good. It was just this very, sly smile to her of, we all know that was a big crash, but it was just her cute little giggle made me so happy. Very spirit of free ride behind her.
Yeah, a lot of people holding their breath yesterday. It was impressive. We won't need to talk about it much more because she's about to drop in her run, and that's what's important today.
Exactly. Kayla has earned her spot here, and we are so excited to see what she's going to do with this face at Kicking Horse.
Helly Hansen, rider on course. Riding for Helly Hansen as well as Giro.
And coming to you from the Whistler BC Freeride Club. So no stranger to being up here in BC. Big air for Kayla to start off her run.
My co-host on the Freeride Guide is her coach, Derek Foose. He's going to be watching this run intently. Shout out Foose and the Whistler Freeride Club. Oh, another big air. Stomped it. A little flat landing, but it didn't matter to her, did it?
No, she is just ripping through this section here. Really controlled in her airs and then showing off some really strong skiing out of them.
So this little section, it looks like it's proving to be a little funky with the tracks that are put into it. As she cruises kind of down cross court here and finds another exit out. Riding fall line. Good job.
Really fast run for Kayla.
Look at her bomb out the bottom,
too. Straight line competition to the bottom for her. That was awesome skiing. Really fast and powerful and just went at it with purpose.
Well, that's got to make her happy.
Absolutely. I bet she's getting all the hugs at the bottom. Big smiles on everyone's faces. So impressive to see what all of our athletes are doing there. Congrats to Kayla on that run.
How you feel?
So sore.
And then back up top, our next athlete is going to be Willow Newton from Palisades, Tahoe. Coming to you from the Palisades, Tahoe snowboard team when she was a junior, and now here on the Challenger Series this year.
With a third place in Whitewater last week. So she has a good score under her belt, and she is going to want to either replicate it or even do better today.
All right, Willow Newton getting ready to drop in here. High fives at the top, and here she comes.
High fives, keep the vibe high. Here we go. Getting her board underneath her, picking up speed, and dropping into ozone. Here we go.
Cruising some styly turns at the top here, setting the tone for her run. Cruising on that heel side edge as she makes her way far riders left of the venue.
Yeah, working across that traverse here.
Traversing with a purpose. I bet she is going to bite off something exciting for us here in the Darwin Chutes. Lining up through this pepper here with a nice air to her feet.
Cruising over on this rider's left side, the Darwin Chutes here, right where we saw Michaela kind of hunting for some, hunting for features. We just saw Megan Gard go through this zone.
Willow with another air there, controlling that speed out of it. She's about halfway through the venue now.
I think this looks like the best spot for the snowboarders so far in terms of snow quality. You know, right through the other section a little bit farther, basically right below the center, a lot of the riders are having trouble with all of the traverse lines and the condition of the snow. It looks like it's a little easier for board control over on this side. It looks like she is cruising around. I wonder if she's going to traverse into this zone that we just saw Megan straight line out of. Yeah, she's coming in down through the side. A little bit lower than Megan, completely different entrance. Creeping over to this mandatory air.
Picking off exactly where she wants
Boom.
to go and taking it to her feet.
Stomped. It's exactly what you want to do. She got her hands on her head like, oh, I did it. I believe it. I just watched it. Well done, Willow Newton. So that's the run that she wanted. So she finished third in Whitewater, and then we're going to have to see what she's going to have today. We've had some really great runs from snowboard women. Willow Newton put down a great run. Megan Gard put down a great run. Natalie Alport. We had Katie Anderson put down a solid lap.
Absolutely. The judges certainly have their work cut out for them today. These women are throwing down this morning.
And it all comes down to tonight, the best two of three in this IFSA FWT 2026 Challenger Series by Orage. And here we got Elsa Mallister bopping her head.
You know, Elsa's become one of my new favorite skiers to watch. I didn't know who she was before this. I just saw her name as she approached for the Challenger Series. And there, you can see it right there. She's just so aggressive and confident with that air to her feet. She's flying through. I'm a new big fan of Elsa.
You can see her bopping her head. Oh, nice big shifty off the middle there. You can see her bopping her head there. She is listening to anything punk rock. And, going for another air and trying to reach for the grab as well. Really aggressive run here. She is really attacking in this run.
Absolutely. She's coming to you from the Sugar Bowl team out of Tahoe, formerly coached by Kelsey Height, who's also a strong skier, so you can just see the girls have been working on it.
Another big air.
Puts that to her feet. Really awesome execution in that one, right through the center of those rocks. That was really fun.
All right, she's lining up another. So this is what I was talking about, all those little traverse lines. A little bit choppier in this zone. Straight off the front, she is absolutely just piling up features here. Really, really great control on her skis, and she's going to hit another one. Going for the grab again. Really trying to get those extra points with that extra move to go grab the ski.
She just has this confident style behind her of like, yep, I'm going to air, I'm going to grab, I'm going to shifty, I'm going to go fast and turn, and it's just so powerful. Her skiing is so powerful, so brave. Big fan of Elsa. At the bottom, big wave for the crowd and the fans.
Yeah, she's fired up. Yeah, she
stoked.
Definitely attacked that face. I need to find out what was in her headphones. You could see her fired up at the top, and she absolutely charged through that run. Got to be happy with that. Okay, next up, we have our final snowboard woman of the day. We have Audrey Hebert. She is currently sitting in second place with a 7th in Whitewater, including a flip. She finished first yesterday at the Kirkwood restage, and she is on course. Former FWT rider.
Audrey ripping some turns through the Ozone Bowl fast. Again, another fast riding out of our snowboarders.
We just missed it on the live stream, but she just did a nice air going for the grab. Really a really aggressive rider. Out of Banff, and she's been free riding for a long, long time, and she just does it for the love of it. Another huge air back into the bowl. Great control on her heel edge as she cruises across into this next section. And I'm interested to see how she handles her board through this lower area below her with all of those traverse lines diagonally across the run, which you've seen a lot of the snowboarders have some issues with.
Absolutely, but she looks like she is strong and confident as she lines up exactly where she wants to go here, catching a little bit of a lower entrance for this section and biting off an air. Little bit of a bobble there, but back on her feet and moving. Audrey making her way farther skiers right into the venue now, coming through this techie section.
So she kind of skipped some of the worst of that the traverse lines that I was mentioning about just now.
Yeah, the traverse lines are just to her left as she navigates exactly where she wants to go through these trees here.
So lining up this next little spot, I'm expecting her to point it off the nose potentially, or is she going off the side? Oh, there you go, little revert. Get herself situated where she wants to go. Looks like she got a little bit stuck on her flow, but it may be for a great reason. Nice air off the side there. I think her flow maybe suffered a little bit, maybe trying to get where she wanted, and not quite able. Mountain wasn't quite really willing to let her get there how she wanted to with a nice finish air.
Yeah, I think that fluidity was going to have a little bit of a ding, but, she really had to line up exactly where she wanted to go. We mentioned it was techie in there. The conditions are probably not as smooth as they're appearing on camera. So Audrey is heading into the finish corral right now. And the run is behind her. Ozone to her back, corral in front. Audrey Hebert at the bottom. All right, our next athlete is going to be Galina Wardle, coming to you from Aspen, Colorado. She's got Bad Bunny in her headphones. And Galina is ripping some turns. The former racer, first year in freeride and already made it to the Challenger Series. We saw some strong racing turns for him yesterday, but now we are also seeing some air from Galina today.
That's a really popular air for the ski women so far. Great setup at the top. They're able to hit that air and then have a really nice run out. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more features, more like tricks off that, but a lot of them would just want to get this run down. And she's ripping down through this little, I'm going to call this the little playland zone.
The playland zone, I like that. In the Darwin side, I'm a big fan. Galina's ripping some more turns, showing off that racer technique and applying it to freeride. And here comes Galina into this last section here. She made quick use of the venue, catching some more air there as she books it through Darwin two-shoot and into the corral.
Hey, nice work from Galina.
Little pop at the end. She seems stoked. Thumbs up. Big smile on her face. Big wave to the camera. Oh, she looks so proud of that run. That was really exciting to see. Not just her throw down those racing turns that she had yesterday, but really incorporate some more airs and show that beautiful blend that freeride has.
So we are finished with snowboard women. And I think the next ski woman we have is Ignasia Catalano, Iggy. Or we're going to be going to Sam Abriel. I said it perfectly the other day.
We're going to wait just to hear exactly which panel is going to drop next, but we know it will be a skier regardless.
Sam Grislow is the first male rider to drop out of Lake Louise. So we're just going to hold on here and find out who is dropping next.
And you can see our Champagne Powder capital of Canada flying in the wind. Looks a bit breezy up top, but not as breezy as it was yesterday. I think, they're anticipating today to be a little bit colder, a little bit cloudier, but it actually cleared up quite nicely for all our athletes today.
Yeah, yesterday was wind. Today is breeze.
There's a big difference between the two.
Yeah. And the clouds are, basically, there really isn't a cloud in the sky. Yesterday we had those convective clouds that were kind of like building up behind the peaks, where we don't have anything like that today. If we do get cloud, it's going to be that high alpine or high elevation cloud. But for right now, this sky is as blue as it possibly can be. It is a perfect day for free ride here today at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort. Looking at the Ozone face, the legendary Ozone. We got quite a crew here of fans hanging out down in the finish corral on a Tuesday afternoon. So credit to the people of Golden coming out and watching some freeride today.
And absolutely, it's such a great spectating place to be, too. You can really just drop into the bowl and make it straight to the corral and kind of see the party that's happening at the bottom.
Shout out Curtis Gibson on the live MC on the mic over there in the finish corral, keeping the vibes high.
Got a nice view at the top here. Yeah, you can even see the corral at the bottom a little bit there. Flags in the top, athletes waiting. See some athletes stretching at the top. I'm sure everyone kind of has their unique prep work that they go into when they're up in the start gate waiting for their turn. As a former coach I know that there's certain athletes that really like to be hyped up and feel the energy, and then other athletes kind of need to be hyped down and find a little bit more of a calmer state in order to enter their flow zone. So it's really unique to see what each athlete needs to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. It has a lot. That's why I wanted to ask about who's listening to what. I know, for instance, Freeride World Tour Ross Tester. I said, "What are you putting on? Like, is it some hype up music? Is it like, a powerful metal tune? Is it like heavy thumping rap? Is it a dance tune?" He's like, "No, I put on like the mellowest song that I possibly can because I need to calm myself down. I need to center myself." So Sam Grislow dropping in. Bib number 89.
Sam is our event wild card coming to you from Lake Louise.
Listening potentially to Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield, like I said. Hitting that skiers there that all the ski ladies had hit.
And thrown in some style. A little grab there he had, which will go into his style categories. He lines up a techie entrance there and puts it to his feet. Smooth turns out of there for Sam. He's about...
All right, so he rips into this top section here. So he's rolling right into this area that in 2018 we saw Logan Peyote boost off the nose with a 98 run, and it is exactly where Sam's going right now. Popping off. Oh, hit it as a double. Kind of dripped off the top. Managed to hit that shelf and ride out. And that shows a ton of control because as soon as you hit that small little shelf, it wants to throw your skis back behind you. So great control. Way to keep on his skis and ride out through the bottom of that run. Good start for this ski men category.
Yeah, really good balance out of Sam. That was an excellent tone to set for our ski men category. And our next athlete, we're going to head back to ski women. Again, dual panel, 2 sets of judges. The action never stops. We have Ignasia Palomera.
Ignasia Catalano Palomera, or Iggy as she likes to be called.
Coming to you from El Colorado, Chile. She earned her way up to challengers by qualifying through the South American circuit.
Currently living in Whistler, BC. We carpooled out here together, got to know each other, listened to some tunes, had a really lovely drive out.
She's just the sweetest thing. I love getting to ski with her. She's so fun to be around. Always has the biggest smile on her face. Something you see a lot out of the Chileans is they're just always so stoked to be here and ski. As she lines up her first air, catches a little bop, and is on the move to her next.
A huge contingent of Chileans and Argentinians, like Freeride Chile, Freeride Argentina. In this Region 2 series from Alaska to Patagonia.
Absolutely. So exciting to see the blend of athletes we have all the way, like you said, from Alaska to Patagonia. It's a huge series that we're running here. And Iggy is making her way down. Coming in just below that ozone bowl right now. It looks like she's looking for another feature 2 bite off. Throwing in some more turns here, finding her control and finding that balance through her edges in her skiing. Linking up some short radius turns here as she makes her way to exactly where she wants to be to bite off the next section of her line. Navigating through the trees here. Making her way, and then coming out into the apron of this chute.
Okay, she cruises right underneath where we just saw Sam straight line out of, finishing up her run and heading down to the finish corral.
She wants to give a shout out to Peak Performance and her boyfriend that has supported her in a lot of her skiing. So big shout out to Igna and her whole team.
Yeah, shout out Ollie. I met Ollie. He dropped her off at my house in Vancouver. Nice guy. I think he's on his way to Alaska to do some snowmobiling. But I'm sure he's watching. All right, so next up, we have Nathan Peruzan, or Nate, out of Jackson Hole. Nathan is currently sitting in second place overall, with a second place in Whitewater and a fourth yesterday here at the Kirkwood restage. He's really put on a show for us thus far, so we're going to see what happens.
Absolutely, Nathan coming on in along the ridgeline here.
So he's coming up, skiers right, lookers left, along the ridgeline. We saw some of the earlier, actually we haven't seen a lot of riders head through that zone.
I was just about to say we saw a lot drop into ozone these last few riders, but it's nice to see Nathan opening up this section again, setting the tone with his riding here on the ridgeline as he gets ready to drop in.
Yeah, I think one of the first riders was Brida Wynins heading over that section. So here he is, right where Chloe Hayer was up in that zone, I believe. With a big left side 3, wheelies out of it, stays onto his feet as he heads to this next section. Massive flared out backflip. He's whipping his pole around. He knows what that was all about. Controlling his speed. Well, fastest run of the day, that's for sure.
Absolutely, with 2 huge tricks, too. That was so fun to watch him combine that element of that techie entrance up top with the spin and then just boosting it into that flip.
Not wasting any time, and he knows it. Nathan Peruzan with a second and a fourth, and he is happy with what he did today. Here we go. Ski Men is on its way.
And next up, we have Selby Hall coming to you from Aspen, Colorado. Selby is dropping into the ozone bowl with an air off the top and then ripping some turns through here. Selby making her way far skiers left and looks like she's going to line up this air. We've seen a lot of the women take to her feet. Selby is cooking. Making her way through this midsection of the ozone bowl.
Finding a little something to jump off there. You know, like we were talking about before, if you see something, jump off it. Listen to Shane McConkey, who started the IFSA 30 years ago. It's one of his famous lines. Just go down there and jump off something.
Just point the skis and go. And Selby's ripping some turns here. It looks like she's going to line up another feature. She makes her way through the Darwin chute.
So we have these 2 little, buttresses, little noses that we've got at the bottom here. The right side, looker's right side one, we saw several of the women the snowboard women ride through, and she's going to point it right off the front. Oh, boom, stomp! This is the same air we saw Kestrel lace through those 2 trees at the bottom. We've got Selby following it up. She says, "Hey, I saw that. It's my turn." Stomp the landing, straight line out the bottom, and it looks really forgiving. Neither of them seem to have a hair out of place. Perfect landing. They are balanced exactly how they wanted to, and then blast out the bottom. The head rider, Selby Hall.
And, you know, looking up at the venue right now, I can see the tracks of where Kestrel landed and where Selby, and they're exactly next to each other. It was cool to see them take almost the exact same, almost the same takeoff, but land in pretty much the same spot.
So how would you judge that? Would you judge it a little bit higher for Kestrel for being able to thread the needle through those 2 little trees?
Well, something I also noticed with Selby is she had a little bit of a hesitation before she dropped in, too, so
Right.
that will also be factored, but not into her line score. You know, the judges really do scale and put the work into where they take off from and where they land, and that line score is a numerical value, but any of the other factors like speed and those things will not count towards the line. It will count towards their their rider level, their fluidity, and those other things that are based around that line score. So Selby with a successful run behind her. We are back to ski men at the top. Leif Gascoin is going to be our next athlete to drop in from the Whistler Freeride Club. And he says instead of having a song in his headphones, he likes to sing to himself.
We should get him mic'd up.
I know, I wonder what he's singing. Is he singing his hype-up song, or do you think he's singing something a little more mellow? And
I have no idea. Maybe he made up a song for himself. I make up songs for my dog all the time.
All right, Leif getting the final fist bump at the top.
All right, dropping in, Leif. Let's see what happens. Riding out of the Whistler Freeride Club. He's actually competing with his brother here, Kane Gascoin.
Freeride family on the move.
Freeride family. So he's rocking his way down the ridge where we just saw Nate cruise through.
All right, Leaf making his way, setting up those warm-up turns.
Yeah, having a little bit of fun. Getting prepared. He's actually just cruising like he's on the groomer. I love it. End of the day, just having a little nice mellow cruise. And this is where he's going to start getting locked in. Here we go. Rolling up to the edge here, right up this Taj Mahal spine. We've seen a couple riders in.
Navigating through exactly where he wants to be in this techie section.
Taking a little bit of a different line. Throwing a huge floaty backflip. Stomped it to bolts. Thrown on the brakes so he can get enough speed and a right angle into his next feature. Huge straight air. Just clips a rock. Gets back on his skis. What a recovery.
Absolutely cat-like reflexes as he bounced, punch-fronted a little bit, flipped fully over in that roll, but then skied up like nothing happened.
Oh yeah, so great to see him get back on his skis. You can see I can see in the landing he just creeped over it, but he had maybe another few inches in order to get past that rock, clipped his tails, put him into a little tumble, but right back onto his skis, and he just showed that severe strength, that extreme strength to be able to get that ski back underneath him and across. Obviously he's going to be a little bit disappointed, but huge marks for me. That was a big move.
And back up to the top, Delila Quinn, our Tahoe freerider, is on course.
All right, Delila Quinn is a former FWT rider, and she is currently sitting in second place with 2 podium finishes, a third and a first. Hannah Baldwin, who's sitting above her, has a first and a second. So if Delila can finish first, she takes it because she has 2 top spots. If Hannah finishes with a first, she takes the top with 2 top spots. But you have 2 spots to qualify as she spins off the cornice. And has a little bit of a tumble.
Unfortunately, not quite holding on, but Delila had quite the run yesterday. She threw this beautiful laid out backflip at the bottom, so we know she's no stranger to being in the air and throwing tricks.
Absolutely. So as she cruises around, depending on whether Hannah crashes or not, so you get the best 2 of 3 runs. So Hannah has a first and a second. Delila has a third and a first. So they would stay in their same positions. As she hucks another massive 3. Stay on your ski. Oh, she was trying to hold on to that one. Really going for it. Hope she's all right here. She is all right.
From Delila.
Wow, really going for it.
And that 360 she threw was so smooth, too. She really had set up a nice approach to it, a solid pop, looked really clean in the air, and just unfortunately didn't quite hold on through the landing. But her maneuver in the air was so clean.
Off of the cornice, too, was because it's a completely blind takeoff. So it's a little scarier. I'd say it's a higher difficulty because you're cruising down the edge. You may be able to look off to the side, but being able to spin right off the cornice with pretty much a blind landing is different than the spin we saw here on her second run or her second attempt. So back to ski women to the title battle. Hannah Baldwin has a first and a second. Delila has a third and a first. With Delila's crash, she's not going to be moving ahead of Hannah. We also have Kestrel Sullivan, who we just saw has a second place finish and a DNF, but we just saw her put down an amazing run. So there's 2 spots available for ski women to move on. Hannah Baldwin and Delila are currently there. Kestrel may have something to say about it because if Kestrel finishes with a first, there's a good chance that she moves ahead of Delila.
Absolutely, and it is up to the judges now. So exciting to see. It is action-packed, and everyone is staying on their toes, just figuring out what is going to happen here. But back up to the top, we have Holden Way dropping in.
I'm not a mathematician, but I like to play one on TV.
Holden coming to you from Grand Targhee Resort, and he is making quick use of this top section, already through the ozone bowl. Catching some air.
Huge, big floaty air with a shifty. So in this section here, even on these smaller features, you want to go as big as possible and you want to do as much as possible. Another little pop as he's lining up. It looks like Is he going to cut back into the Logan spine, or is he coming down through this middle section? We will only find out in just a moment here.
Lining up exactly where he wants to be here.
Oh, little cross court, got caught on his ski, back on his feet. See if he pulls up. Fun little spread eagle. And rolling down to the bottom.
Spread eagle for the soul at the end. And Holden Way comes into the corral.
Let's go, buddy. It's a guy, man.
All right, Holden is all done. The run behind him. And we are going to head back up to the top for our next ski women. Anna Asimont.
She is a wild card.
Coming to you from Snowbird, Utah.
And riding in Kings and Queens this year as well, with a little air right at the start to get her run started off, set the tone for what's to come. Working her way across this little traverse. If you're watching a lot of the FWT events, that little traverse is very popular with Christopher Trudell and Carl Renier Eriksson. As she gets that little traverse air, I guess a little side air that a lot of the athletes have been hitting. If it's right there, you might as well hit it, you know?
Absolutely. And, you know, Anna said she didn't start skiing that long ago. She actually comes from a competitive gymnastics background. You can see her air awareness as she takes another one to her feet and keeps on moving. She's navigating through these little trees here, about more than just over halfway through the venue. She comes up to this last feature here. And it looks like she, you know, is heading further skiers right now over towards this Darwin side of our ozone venue with the backflip and not quite bringing it all the way around.
Oh, goodness gracious. So she tried to gap that. She tried to hit the backflip and gap to the transition. She's standing up. Looks like she's okay. She's already hiking up for her ski. So we're going to take a moment here and go to some of our sponsors and give you a little information on them. We'll be back just in a moment. Welcome back. It looks like our next rider is Kane Gascoin out of Whistler Free Ride Club. Probably listening to Many Men by 50 Cent. He is cruising down the ridge, heading over to this Taj Mahal spine. We've seen a lot of the skier men take some really big moves off of this so far today, including his brother, Leaf. And we will see what he has for us in store. A Giro rider as well. So you can see him just at the as he drops in.
Kane making his way through the techie section of the Taj Mahal.
So just working his way to this diving board, brings it around, stomps it, gets in control, ready for this next section. What has he got for us? Huge straight air as he wants to make sure he hits this next section. He's got a lot of speed.
And here he comes. Talk about a link. I mean, my goodness, feature to feature to another feature. Really taking that traverse and throwing some airs in it. That was awesome by Kane.
Yeah, so 4 in a row here, concession. His third feature, he had a lot of speed into it, and he looks like he slowed himself down and straight aired, which I think is a correction on his behalf. he was going in and he's like, hey, you know what? I'm not going at the pace that I need for the thing I want to do. So being able to shut that down, straight air it, stay on your feet, and put down a really good run is really important. So we're getting right into it. We got Ione again.
Ione Gangori Perez.
Thank you.
To you from Spain. She is such a powerful skier. Worked her way from the South American Series all the way up to Challengers. Ione is one of my biggest inspirations in the ski community. I love watching her ride, taking her first air to her feet and ripping another turn. Quick speed here from Ione.
You can see that ponytail flapping around in the wind as she picks up the speed, as she cruises in and drops this nice little feature right in mid-slope.
And looked like that run out was quite a bit bumpy too, but she did such a good job controlling her speed and fluidity through there to be able to loop it back around and coming into the mid-section of the venue now.
Linking some turns at some really hot pace, really attacking this lower section. Into these two kind of, I guess, twin features. Should we call them Thing 1 and Thing 2?
I love that.
So hopping off at the side of Thing 1 here. Not quite as much air she probably wanted to do, but she's on her feet. She's had a great run as she charges into the finish line to meet her friend. She's fired up. She's having a good time. She just got to shred the famous ozone face.
And that was such a fast run, too. She was just non-stop, top to bottom, consistently linking the turns, biting off the features where she can. Huge smile on her face. I bet Ione is so stoked. Getting all the hugs from her friends at the bottom. Big congrats to Ione.
Next up, we have Townsend Reed out of Whitefish, Montana. And he is listening to Dinosaur by Hank Williams Jr. Little country flair here. Like I said, I want to put together that Spotify list. I'm gonna go and have some chats with some of these riders and say, hey, did you actually listen to that in your run?
And you know, I think a lot of them too listen to it as they prep and then kind of like to enjoy just being in the moment for their run too. So it's fun to see how they hype themselves up or down before and then really engage through their skiing.
Yeah, they know what's best for them.
Townsend, we can see him up top getting ready to drop in. Originally from the Flathead Freeride team out of Whitefish, Montana, he was second at Kirkwood Challenger in 2025. Townsend getting ready to drop in. Always so curious to know what's going through the heads of the riders at the top. Are they repracticing their line again, visualizing all of it, or just really, you know, clearing it and saying, I'm going to send it, see what happens?
Well, you were a rider. You were a competitor. What was going through your mind while you were standing at the top of those things?
It's kind of something different every time, so always curious to see. It's such an individual sport. Everyone really takes their own spin on their preparation, their execution, and really exciting to see the variety of riders we have. All right, getting word that Townsend is ready to drop in, and here he goes.
So he's heading down the ridge as well. Yeah, a little pop partway through. So that seems to be the feature most of these ski men have been zeroing in on, because it's a little bit more, I guess, grandiose, for the lack of a better word. The features are a little bigger, they're more consequential, you can go bigger, you can put bigger tricks in, but it's quick. You got to be able to link them fast, and you have to be able to land, pinpoint exactly where you want in order to get on edge to get to the next feature, because if you don't, you're going to miss it. And this face drops away really quick as he works his way in really quickly into this top section. Hucking the big backflip, stomping. Everybody's been stomping that backflip. It's lined up perfect for these guys as he heads in for the left side, floaty 3, lands it, gets over the tree, and he cruises over into this next spot.
Yeah, again, such a beautiful link from this side of the venue that we're seeing. Catching another air there, and he is going to cook it into the bottom.
So he kind of points it off the front there and then decided to just run it out. So from where he entered, backflip, spin, we've seen that a few times already from the ski men. works his way over to these other two features. He just kind of punted off the nose and then right down to the bottom. There's one more feature if he continues the traverse across the slope, that horizontal kind of movement, that east or west to east movement, I would say, as we're looking at this face. So even though that was a great run, other riders that took that same line picked up that extra feature at the end, which is definitely going to affect his score.
And on course right now, we have Valerie Feston, our event wildcard, coming to you from Park City and Snowbird and Alta. So Utah rider, no stranger to the steeps. She is making her way across the ridgeline. And
she's a really stylish rider. She just kind of showed right there with a little bit of a slash turn. A lot of style with her and her skiing. As she cruises down into this Taj Mahal spine zone that we've seen a lot of the guys ride into.
Here comes Valerie, picking exactly where she wants to drop in for this section of the Taj Mahal.
Little jump turn in, and we've got another one coming up right here, it looks like.
Quite the technical entrance. Looks like she's going to get ready to grab another air off the bottom and cook in back to link some more turns.
Yeah, really, really nice entrance there. Here she comes for another feature. Pops off of that one and cuts back. So that's a kind of an interesting way that we've seen that feature. She kind of cruised around and hit the bottom of that first big cliff zone.
Absolutely, she made it look so smooth here, catching another air with the shifty to her feet.
Nice floaty little air. Got to be comfortable with that. Tried to get a little shifty, and like I said, she's a styly skier.
And that is showing up in her riding, and not just in her shifties, but in her little flares that she's been throwing in, and you can really see she's showing off some personality in that run. That was really fun to watch Valerie ski. She seems stoked. Getting big hugs at the bottom. Valerie, our event wild card. All the freeride fans at the bottom, I feel like this is quite the day to put your run down and then stick around and watch the rest of the show.
Oh yeah, it's an absolutely gorgeous day here. So it's nice that we're doing this at the end of March. When the Freeride World Tour comes here in February, the sun is really only just peeking over the ridge, like right now. So when they run it in -20, -30, they're in the shade for a good couple hours before the sun gets to the part where a lot of the corral is set up. And a lot of the people that are there watching will run about 20-30 meters away from the corral where the sun is, and then follow it back to when it eventually gets to the finish corral.
Sam Westgate on the ridgeline. Looks like he's getting hyped up with the crew that's on top and heading in. Sam's originally from the UK, but training out of Revelstoke Mountain Resort right now and coaching for the Revelstoke Freeride team.
No music for Sam. He's locked into the task at hand.
Just vibes. Just the freeride vibes for Sam.
All right, heading over to this spot that is getting a lot of traffic here so far in this late stages of this event. Little jump turn in, the mandatory jump turn in, and then jump turn in. So he's actually looking for a little bit of fresh. As you can see, it's starting to get chopped up there. He had a very different entrance to get to that backflip and stomped.
Oh, I'm so excited to see him put that to his feet. With another huge air there. He was floating in the air there for more than a second.
And it looks like he's got a little bit too much speed, and he's just past that next feature. Don't know if he had that in mind. He's just happy he put that run down.
I know the last two runs didn't go exactly as he expected. I was chatting with him in the lodge this morning, and he said he was just feeling a little bit frustrated because, he knows he can ski at that potential that he just showed. So exciting and successful to see him do what he knows he can do.
And that backflip feature, he went into it a little bit of a different angle to, I guess, take advantage of some like a fresher line. But that backflip diving board has been absolutely really wonderful for all these riders. Like, it's been perfect.
It's been set up really nicely, and it looks like the landing's really clean and friendly and just setting them up to be successful in those tricks.
Yeah, not too much pop. As soon as they get around, they're like, oh, it's right there. It falls away perfect. So perfect transition. So we've seen 5 or 6 of those riders thus far stomp that backflip. And you'd think a feature like that would be kind of a variable in how a lot of these riders get scored, because it's high consequence. Like, it's hard. It's not high consequence in that there's like exposure or anything underneath it, but it's hard to do. Those guys are backflipping a diving board off of a gnarly ridge, but every single one of them is landing, so they're not really separating themselves from the rest until you get to the second, third, and fourth feature. We've seen some of the riders that have backflipped off that first diving board hit all four. Some of them have dropped off. Some have spun on the next two or three. So it's definitely about how you're linking that line together that's really going to prove who's going to be on the top of the podium today.
And I think it's a unique choice to decide, okay, do I want to go bigger here and show off, a huge backflip and go as big as I can and just understand that that's my line, I'm going to pin it to the bottom? Or do I want to bite off a smaller chunk, take a little less air, and then link it to the other features? So really up to the rider to decide how they want to navigate that section.
Right, so after seeing a bunch of riders through, I think what's going to happen is whoever can link them all together, probably 3 or 4, and if you can get 1 or 2 tricks in those first 2, or even on the second 2, that's really what's gonna happen. We've seen a lot of different runs and ways to have it done, but I think the person who gets the most tricks off of the most features from that line is gonna kind of come out on top.
And I do think linking them is a really solid move because, again, then they can bite off more of their line section. Each feature has that numerical point value, so by linking them and adding them feature to feature to feature, they can just grab more points in the line score, which is going to boost their score for the other 4 categories as well.
And that's this face. So this ozone face is you have to be on point with your landings. You have to be on point with your exits. Because if you're just a little bit off, if you land on a slightly different diagonal, if you have a little bit of a bobble, you're going to find yourself too low, and there's absolutely no way for you to build that speed to get back to those other features. So if you maybe land something and you're a little bit lower than you wanted to, or you have a bit of a bobble, well, then your run is done. Because this venue is like, all right, you're done, guys. You got to be on point in order to get to those new spots, especially when you're dropping from that specific entrance over on lookers left, skiers right, the Taj Mahal spine.
Yeah, skiers have to be, and riders have to be very specific with not only their landings, but the approach and the takeoff to how they set that in order to execute the trick in the trajectory they want to take it to that next feature.
And I wonder if the takeoffs themselves are going to become a little more different. So we just saw Townsend go in there and do the little jump turn in off the cornice and then work his way just around where a lot of the other riders had done that second jump turn to set up for the diving board. He went a little bit around the side because it was fresher there, and it's starting to get really, really chopped up in there, a lot of traffic, and that could really, really influence your ability to hit that ramp. I'm sure like the track has been set up nicely, the kick is perfect, but if the snow just above it starts getting deteriorated, if it starts like crumbling away, if anything underneath gets exposed, that may really, really affect your ability to hit that so perfectly. And it is so forgiving. Not because everybody looks like it's trouble, but because it looks so easy for them. It's not easy. They make it look easy. But I'm really excited to see how the rest of the not only ski men category take that feature and that line, but now we're about to get started with snowboard men. We're about to have our first male snowboard rider, and it's going to be Isaac Singer.
Yep, and Isaac will be our 40th athlete to drop today, so we're exactly about halfway through our athletes. And yeah, like you said, how is that going to change? How is the takeoff going to change? Is the landing going to get more bombed out? And so we'll have to see what the riders do with the conditions that are at hand.
And we saw it a little bit yesterday, and a little bit today as well, with the snowboarders and the skiers entering kind of the same venue, where when it gets a little steeper, sometimes the snowboarders are going to have to come in on their heel edge and scrape a little bit of that away, where sometimes the skiers can kind of just point it through, but maybe they can't, and they get stuck on the ruts that are built. So as the day goes on, the face evolves as well. not only from the sun exposure, like it's getting warmer, it's getting a lot of solar radiation. As we mentioned, there was a bit of a crust that they had to mitigate in order to get the comp going on today. So I'm assuming the snow is going to get a little softer, maybe a little warmer, maybe a little slower. But then also, there's a lot of riders on this face so far. We've had 40 riders on this face, and there's only more. So all of these lines, all of these routes, all of these takeoffs are going to start getting beat up. And when you have a higher drop number, you have to take that into account as well.
And we talked about that as it being part of the athlete's strategy. They get the start list so they know, okay, you know, I'm going to be dropping towards the end of the day. I have to be prepared for that takeoff to look a little bit different than I was planning, or, you know, my landing might be a little funkier than I had expected. So that all goes into the way they make their plan for not only their line, but their day.
Yeah, absolutely. So while we wait for the next riders to drop, we're shifting over to snowboard men. I think we might be able to go to a little bit of a break. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're about to start Snowboard Men with Isaac Singer, or Smeech, as he told us his nickname is. Here we go. Snowboard Men, ready to roll.
Isaac making quick use of the top of the ozone bowl, caught a little air off the top and is really cruising in with some speed here. Making his way far riders left towards the Darwin chutes.
Coming back to, whoa, backflip. So we've seen a lot of riders hit this little bump today, and I was mentioned that not a lot of people have tricked it. Well, he must have heard me. Right on cue, throwing a backflip to get this run started. You can tell he's got something else lined up right here. Not much of a pop, so just drop, kind of a drip, a little drip drop, dropping off of that little feature. As he cruises above this little spine line, he's going to take it off the side. Another air as he rides out the chute. Let's see if he can get on his edge and turn around so we can hit that transition, or that little cross-court air. It's like the third air that we were talking about just now with all those ski riders.
Yeah, and he did just that. He circled it back around so he could line it up and do another little drip drop there.
Drops in and cruises his way back down to the finish line.
Fast work out of our first snowboard male of the day.
Here we go. Next up, we're still in the ski men. We've got Lachlan Harvey. He was on the FWT this year, didn't make the cut, and you know he wanted to make his way back to it.
Lachlan from the Whistler Freeride Club.
Whistler Freeride Club. Shout out all my Whistler Freeride Club friends back at home.
Air straight into the ozone bowl.
So we've seen a lot of the ski men go down the ridge, and he is deciding to go right through center. Big left side three. Coming back and hitting the lower side of that feature. A quick turnaround. So we actually got 2 hits off that one feature, which we haven't seen yet today.
And I think, again, that's that creativity behind it. A lot of people took that one line, but he took 2, and he lines up his third feature here. Another drip off that middle section.
Definitely getting his money's worth on this face today.
Absolutely, as he comes in here for his 4th feature of the day.
And so we've seen a lot of riders go off a little higher on that cross court, I guess, little side traverse. He's coming and pointing it off this little nose here. Just actually missed the side and then rolled down the side of it. I thought he was going to maybe pop off the nose, but it may not have worked for him as he cruises his way through into the finish corral.
Lachlan Harvey. Run behind him, all done with the Challenger Series. And just got word that penalty is ready for our second snowboard male, Jeremy Allaire. our Quebec rider. Back up to the top for Jeremy. Jeremy looks like he's heading into the ozone section, going to catch that same air into the ozone bowl.
It's still a little bit of a cornice ridge, not a massive cornice ridge. As you see farther down the ridge, you can actually see the big overhang. Slightly different aspect, but there is that really nice rollover that you can get a good pop off the top at.
And Jeremy just took a second air here in the ozone bowl. So 2 features are under his belt so far. And grabbing it for a third. To his feet as he stays on his toe side's edge and then links a turn. Coming into the trees here. And grabbing another one that spits him straight into the chute.
Oh, right over that little tree there.
Yeah, as he holds on and navigates his balance and control.
Oh, goes for a little spin and ended up just getting bucked on the landing.
Unfortunately, not quite how he had planned that to go, but he is through his run and coming into the corral now.
Some noise for the man from Kestrel, Quebec, Jeremy Allaire.
Jeremy Allaire, Quebec rider. And with our dual panel, we are going to head back up top for Skylar Koff, our next ski male, coming from Alta, Wyoming and Grand Targhee Resort.
Alta as well as Grand Targhee. So he's got like a double, he's calling it a double home. He's like a dual passport, dual citizen. Next up, Skylar Koff. You see, the breeze is picking up a little bit.
I was going to say that, yeah, we can see.
Is that wind yet, or is it still breeze? What do you think?
You know, I'm on the side of heavy breeze to stay optimistic.
Nice heavy breeze.
Nice heavy breeze. Not quite wind. Not wind yet.
Oh, looking at it from here, looks like it could be like a mild wind.
Yeah, we'll call it light
heavy
wind.
Breeze,
heavy breeze.
Heavy
yeah.
breeze, light winds. Something right along the line there. It is just an absolute beauty of a day today.
It really is. Bluebird skies, just some clouds in the distance, and Skylar is on course.
So he's mocking through this ozone section. Big spin off that top, cranking around below.
A lot of speed through this section here as he comes in for another air to his feet.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of people just drip off that section, and he just kind of popped, like boosted off it, because he'd been able to keep that speed a little higher. He's coming into this little center zone, and there's a few kind of diagonal airs here. Here's one, and that's where we saw that crash earlier in the day, and he just got clipped up. Looks like he kind of threw his hip down because he was a little backseat and didn't want to go off that next roll. So we've seen 2 skiers hit that zone. I believe it was it Leaf that clipped his tail off that top air, and then we saw Skylar do the same thing. So the riders need to go a little bit bigger in order to clear that lower line of rock. We've seen it take 2 people down already, so I don't know if they're either watching the live stream or if they have someone down below on a radio that they can transport some information to them, if that's in their line. But that one right now is the riders are 0-2 against that little feature.
Yeah, and I can see it in his tracks right now looking up at the venue. He really just landed on the bottom of that pepper of that cliff. So just unfortunate he didn't quite have the speed to come into it, especially because he came off that top section so fast into his middle air there. He cooked so much faster than a lot of the other athletes. So unfortunately, not quite carrying the same speed he needed.
Yeah, so those 2 top airs had a lot of speed, And then below that is that little section where a lot of those traverse lines are in, which we have mentioned several times, that are a little chopped up, have been giving some riders some trouble. So he had to slow his speed down, and I think that really is consequential for not being able to clear that feature and then head into the second, because I think his idea was to head over there and then get into the second and then boost that. So back to it. Charles Somerville heading down the ridge. We haven't seen, this is the first snowboard men that's cruised down to this zone where we've seen a lot of the ski riders and several of the ski women and ski men. And we'll see how he gets into this zone. So the skiers have been hopping in with a little bit of a jump turn, and then another little setup before hitting the diving board for that backflip. The same thing, jump turn, nice.
Yeah, exciting to see how the snowboarder is going to take it. Charles in the Taj Mahal section right now, and navigating beautifully through this techie work here.
So not heading over to the diving board, can't quite get it, but he's got this little section that we saw Valerie Feston hit with a 360, holding on to it. Oh, get a hand down, but he's managed to keep on his board, heading over into this some fresh zone. Nice little move, slashing some pow on the edges of the course. As I told you yesterday, I'm all about it. And you can see right there the uneven slope. It's quite firm under his board. He's got to be careful on there as he's trying to keep as high as he can into this next little feature.
Catching some more air off the bottom of that so he can bring it into the corral with another feature under his belt.
Hitting it fall line. So he can keep enough speed to get back, because there's no way at the speed he had he's going to get that fourth feature. So smart move, just point it down, get out. Hopefully a bit of smile on his face. Hopefully he's happy with that run. I was happy with that run.
Absolutely, and he was third overall last season, so really backing up the consistency that he has to be here competing on the Challenger circuit.
And it was nice to see him in there as the first snowboarder to enter into that zone, to see how he navigated through that top section versus how the skiers did it.
You know, it is a different sport. You really can't quite compare the skiers to the snowboarders, because it's just, that's why they're scored separately, skiers and snowboarders. So yeah, exciting to see Charles take a new bite there.
All right, we've got Orion Cherney up. He is currently sitting in third place overall in ski men. He is on telemark skis.
With a front flip off the top there. He had two backies yesterday, so exciting to see that Orion has the tricks.
Yeah, finished in third place yesterday. Another fun air. If we have a tele skier on the Freeride World Tour next year, I am going, you just color me impressed.
And here comes Orion, catching another pop off the side of that feature.
We're both kind of sitting here in bated breath watching to see what he does.
Keeping everyone on their toes. That's something that's fun about Orion skiing, is you never really know what he's going to do.
And when you're tele skiing, you kind of get down on your toes as well, don't you?
Exactly, yeah. Keeping everyone on his toes, himself included.
Watch me on my toes. What's he going to line up here? Ooh.
Off of thing one, as we started calling this cliff.
Going for the backflip. Oh, goodness. Oh, and back to his feet. So right there may have been a bit of a drawback by having the tele skis. So he had the backflip, got a little bit back seat, and it looked like that one ski wanted to cruise away, and his heel kind of released, and it looked like it was moving towards that tree as he was really drastically trying to get his leg in away from hitting that tree. Little bit of a bobble on the exit there, but that may have been a bit of a drawback from the tele ski and that free heel, with the ski extending out a little bit farther to the side. I'd have to ask him about that.
He did such a good job reacting to what was happening in front of him too, versus instead of just fully letting go and accepting the fall, you could see him really try to bring it back together, like you said, Mark.
That's
a lot of athleticism behind that.
Full self-preservation mode. So on this slope several years ago, we had a rider break his leg, which wasn't nice because he ended up sliding in, hitting a tree, skied down, and then was like, oh yeah, I ended up breaking my leg on that. So we do not want to see anything like that today. So great job to keep away from it. I'm going to have to ask him if that was kind of the case. He may say, he may not notice because it's just natural for him, but I'd like to watch that again and actually see if that ski extended out a little bit farther.
And we have Nicholas Carroll on course, from Hidden Valley, Missouri. Catching his first air into the Ozone Bowl and making his way towards the Darwin chutes.
He's actually coming in a little bit higher on that traverse than we've seen a lot of the riders, and this may actually give him a little bit of speed into that actual traverse if he wants to go a little bit farther riders left. But he cuts back into this little feature and spins it, doesn't quite make it around.
But he is still on the move, heading further skiers right of the Ozone Bowl. Riders right in this case. Getting a little hop turn in there to line up through that section and control his speed out. Link in another turn.
He's being very, very deliberate with where he wants to go right now. Kind of cruising in on his heel edge, taking his time. As he's cruising over to Thing 2. This is where we saw some of the freeride snowboard women cruise through. We saw Megan Garden here. We saw Katie Anderson cruise through here as well.
And it looks like he's taking almost the same entrance that Megan took, but a little bit higher up.
Yeah, he's a little bit higher. Kind of going to pwn it off the nose here. Oh, kind of landed into this kind of flattest little spot right in the middle and just got tossed around. So he's back on his board, which is good to see. Hopefully he's all right. He doesn't quite have enough speed to get to the corral.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of a bump up and over to get to the corral, which I'm sure is a bit more difficult on a snowboard. Next athlete in the gate, we have Rye Mann from Sun Valley. Second at the Revelstoke event and fifth at Kicking Horse. Rye's going to be our 47th athlete to drop in today, so we are certainly moving through all the athletes we have. And I think, we're a little bit more into that heavy breeze that we have right now up at the top. So, interesting to see how that's going to change the condition throughout the day. But it's staying warm and it's staying sunny and it's so exciting. I think the crowd at the bottom has been building up a little bit too. People are coming to watch the show.
Yeah, it's a great day for freeride, not only on freeskier.com, which you're watching right now, but also here in person on a Tuesday afternoon here in Golden. The town of Golden turns out. They are so lucky to have so many amazing events, freeride events, and not only Tourism Golden, the town, but the Mountain Kicking Horse get behind it 100%, and they make it so easy to put events on here. They have been absolutely fantastic to deal with this year. Anything we've needed, they've been, yeah, we've got that for you. Hey, can you do this for me? Absolutely. Everything from printing start lists to heli drops from the ridge we were at yesterday to the ridge we are today, so we can hold comps on 2 different venues.
Absolutely. The event staff has just gone above and beyond to help us out with the event, and all of the lifties and everything too. So friendly. 10 out of 10 for Kicking Horse.
10 out of 10. We obviously had 2 events here. We did the Kicking Horse restage here yesterday on T1 South venue, and today on the famous Ozone as Rye Mann works his way down the ridge. Just having a look over the edge. Getting ready to drop in.
Looks like he's heading back to that Taj Mahal section as well.
Jump turn.
Check.
Second jump turn. Oh, he just drops in a little bit more straight line. Straight into the diving board. Backflip. Stomp.
Backflip, check.
And so you see him getting set up for this second one. Another flared out backflip. Stomps it. Can he hit that third step? He can. He's getting to the third. Oh, he's just missed the third feature. So this is exactly what we're talking about. We've had a couple riders being able to hit all 4 in a row, but you really got to be pinpoint. Two great moves, beautiful black flips, stomped it. The first one straight off the diving board. That second one a little bit flared out. You got to control your speed out of there and really get hard on that downhill edge in order to get basically turn left to hit to that third feature. We've seen some of the riders being able to hit all three, and that's what's going to set them apart. They're all landing that backflip perfectly, and it's just a matter of can you get a little bit more is what's going to determine if you can get a little bit farther up the standings.
Johnny Duty got some air into the Ozone Bowl right now. He's coming to you from Steamboat Springs.
Johnny Duty is currently sitting in third overall as he cruises up and basically spins over that transfer. A really unique, different line that we've seen there. Sitting in third place overall. He had a fifth and a first yesterday. So he is riding high. Taking it fall line. Little bit of trouble. This is that section that people have been having trouble with the snow at.
Absolutely. That definitely looks like the most challenging snow on the venue. So got a little buck, but he's back on his feet.
Creeping into this next little section here. Let's see what he has here. Popping over into the chute, and he wants to hit this traverse. Having a little bit of some struggle with that snow underneath him. But he set himself up nicely for this zone.
Yeah, it looks like he made it to where he wanted to be because he linked that air so beautifully for his last feature.
Yeah,
and he is in the exit.
Way to finish strong. Yep. Got into where he needed to, popped off, laced that landing, and he's found his way to the bottom. So not as smooth as I think he wanted to. But we'll see where he ends up there.
Absolutely. Our next athlete, ski man, is going to be Noel Medrano from Argentina. He's participated on 2 Freestyle World Championships. And coming to you from Bariloche, our Argentinian rider representing South America, again, the IFSA free ride from Alaska to Patagonia. We run over 180 events a year. We have over 7,000 members this season, so it's been really exciting to watch the IFSA grow. And the level of competition grow, too. I think the athletes are definitely challenging themselves every year and just elevating that level of skiing and riding. Noel on course. He's coming into the Ozone Bowl, catching an air off the top with a spin as he makes his way far skiers left. Noel keeping it nice and smooth on that traverse. Traversing with a purpose, as the judges like to say.
Our right side of this venue. Kind of a new zone here. But some features that we haven't seen yet. Popping off the top, getting on his edge, and controlling his exit so we can get into this next little section. Right at the top of playland here.
Catching another air there as he exits that section. Really stacked up the features through that playland. Playful, as one might say. Noel is heading in through the last Darwin chute, coming into Thing 1, and taking it almost like a double.
Yeah, I think he may not have been able to get as much air as he wanted to off the first, and then it looked like he kind of just adjusted, put his landing gear down, and then popped off the bottom.
Yeah, he had a really unique approach to that one. Again, maybe not exactly what he had planned, but excellent execution in that.
Yeah, I had just muted myself, but I was saying it looked like he didn't quite clear it as he had originally planned, and realized, oh, I can actually get my landing gear down, stomp that little pad, and then pop off that lower side, or that lower section.
And again, I think that goes to the athletes they have their plan A, but also have to be prepared to react quickly in a situation like that. Or I didn't quite have the speed, or this didn't look exactly how I thought. Or sometimes, I'm not where I wanted to be, and I have to think about what I want to do to still put down a line. So there's a lot of quick thinking that needs to happen as these athletes are on venue.
Yeah, adaptability is a very important skill for these riders to have. And some of the best riders in the world are the best at being able to adapt in the moment. Like like spur of the moment, split-second decisions. Oh, I was going to go here. That doesn't work. Maybe this works.
It's that resiliency that we see in a lot of these athletes is, I'm not going with my plan A because it didn't work out, but I'm still going to make the best of it. And that's really what separates these top athletes, is being able to think so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. From the rest of the human population.
From the rest of the world,
I think that's one of the key skills that really sets like the best of the best apart from everyone else, is being able to make those split-second decisions.
And Jordan Tripp catching an air into the Ozone Bowl. Our rider out of Missoula, Montana.
If you watched the live stream yesterday, I was telling you how Jordan Tripp is a former NFL linebacker, played for 4 different teams, and he's currently a TV analyst for college football. So he and I had a nice chat about like broadcasting, that sort of thing. So I'm going to have to this is a different line that we've seen coming out of there. Everyone seems to be going cross court, our right to left, and he kind of took it from left to right as he's cruising into this kind of playland section, linking some turns, keeping his speed up.
Throwing in some groovy turns here.
Yeah, groovy turns.
Casually hopping from the NFL to the Challenger Series.
Yeah, from edge to edge.
No big deal. Into thing 1.
Oh, and finding a nice exit into the chute. Oh, and just gets tossed on his landing. Hopefully he's all right. Oh, my goodness, his board came off. And it's deciding to finish the run without him. He's doing all right. I don't know if I've ever seen a snowboard come off in a competition. Have you?
I have not. It's funny. Jeremy Allaire, that dropped a few snowboard athletes ago, was the first time I ever saw someone snap a snowboard in half. Oh, there goes Jordan Penguin sliding to the bottom. So we've seen snowboarders snap them in half on venue, but this is the first time I've seen a snowboarder detach from his board like that.
So with the freeride guy with Derek, we've actually talked about this recently. A lot of skiers get the DNFs because your ski comes off. And I don't know if I've ever seen a snowboarder with a DNF. Maybe this is his claim to fame in freeride as maybe one of the first snowboarder to DNF because his snowboard came off.
And it's kind of funny. I've heard some of the IFSA committees joke about like, DNF for a skier because, snowboarders don't DNF because their snowboard doesn't come off their feet. But I have to say, I think Jordan maybe opened up a new conversation for snowboarding DNF.
Yeah, speaking of conversation, he might have to have one with his board being like, dude, what just happened there?
Where did you go?
Yeah. So he's now a little bit farther in the basin, and he's got a boot pack all the way back up to the finish corral. All right, so while he's on his way back up to the finish corral, we are going to give you a little bit of a word from our sponsors.
All right, and we are back.
Back into it quick. We got
Wyatt Gentry on course, likes to be called Gunslinger, going for a big left side 360 there at the bottom of the Ozone Bowl.
Quick and hot. Couple big airs, little 360.
And lining up another one here as he navigates through the techie section. Coming in to bite off another line feature here. And Wyatt is making quick use of this venue here at Kicking Horse. Wyatt making some fast turns, coming in with a huge air and holding on. Wow, that was massive. That was quite some airtime for Wyatt. We can hear the crowd from here really just giving some amplitude that it deserves for that last feature. Wyatt had a plan, and he cleared it through and through. That was quite the impressive air out of Wyatt. coming to us from Teton Valley, Idaho, and Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. But back up top.
Yeah, I was speechless, as you can tell.
Back up top, Elijah Singer.
Right out of Big Sky Resort. On course, heading down through the middle of the ozone face.
Wyatt making his way up that traverse, far riders left. Catching that air and going for the flip and landing perfectly to his feet. That was so clean. And it looks like he's coming into another feature here.
Lining up this little zone, boom, popping over the rocks, getting back onto his board, and he's, whoa, getting tossed around a little bit. Right in that section we've been talking about all day. Just causing problems. The way the slope sets out, all the public that got on there, it's kind of a transition zone from one side of the face to the other side of the face, and they traverse from skier's right to skier left. And as a lot of these riders want to go fall line through there, they get bumped through those little traverse lines and that uneven snow created by all those riders on course. And you may be wondering, why were those riders on course? Well, we mentioned it earlier. Well, I'll explain it to you in a moment after he decides to hit this feature. Oh, quick little revert to get on his toe edge, and a nice double out, and a little bit of trouble on the landing, but managed to pull it around, back on his board, and out he rides. So to finish my point there, you may be, if you're coming in late to the live stream, you may be wondering, why were there public on here? Well, originally they had this face closed. They had about 40 centimeters on here. They were waiting for this competition, and then there was a day that the sun hit it, and it got warm. It created a little melt freeze crust from that solar radiation. Then the technical director and the team here at the IFSA were like, you know what, we still want to put an event on here. Let's get the locals and the public on here and do our best to kind of chop it up, get some of that crust broken down so that the riders can actually get on and put on a show. So we're either dealing with a little bit of traverse line and some choppy snow that way, or they're dealing with a crust which potentially could have been much worse.
Absolutely. It took a lot of prep work to get this venue to be where it is for these athletes to compete. So huge shout out to the technical director and the assistant technical director that worked really hard yesterday to make sure this venue was able to be competed on, as well as the safety team and patrol here at Kicking Horse and all of the athletes that were really excited for it and are doing their best to make the use of it and put on a show.
Yeah, many hands make light work. There's a lot of people behind the scenes here that are doing a lot of work to enable us to talk about skiing all day. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate you over there.
Certainly giving us something to be impressed about.
Ben Leifer getting limber. Ben Limber.
Ben Limber. Utah rider skiing out of Alta. Originally from the Whistler Freeride Club and Winter Park Big Mountain team.
Yeah, a little bit of a little double dip there. Coming in hot, just cruising off that top little air that starts everybody's runs up. Ooh, getting a little bit caught up on his uphill edge there. Throwing a spin, gets it down. And this is what Lachlan did, a little spin and a quick turnaround so he can hit that same feature from a different angle.
Really great use of making the most of that. Coming in through a techie section here.
So he's coming into this little diagonal cliff, and this landing here, this is where the snow gets funky.
But he's making it look pretty smooth as he's getting ready to link some more turns.
Yeah, he's controlling his speed here, which is what you need to do, because you get a little fast and you start hitting those ridges and those bumps, and you're just out of control quick. So he's setting himself up for a big air into the chute, get through it, straight lining out. Oh, that's fantastic. That's a new line we've seen today. Working his way out of the bottom, nice and quick.
Opening up another section of that zone there that I kind of want to call Thing 3, which I know is a little out of order, but we've seen so many people head out of it that it's been exciting to see the unique take that all these different athletes have.
Well, that's right, Nick. That's just above the Logan Peyote air that he hit in 2018. So where he just dropped in, Aaron Smiley, right off kind of the middle, Logan went a little bit farther, a little bit below where that spine is, and then boosted off the front and launched all the way basically to the parking lot. There's a couple big features here that I was expecting these riders to hit that we haven't yet. There's a lot of rumblings about, hey, who's going to hit the pyramid? Who's going to hit that? We haven't seen anybody hit the George Rodney Cliff or the pyramid as it's otherwise known as from the top. We've seen a lot of riders go through that Taj Mahal spine and work their way over, and that's the second feature of those 4 that I was talking about earlier. So we haven't seen anybody take it from the top yet. There's originally hit, we'll talk about it a bit more. Actually, Aaron Smiley is on course now. That was Ben Leifer, excuse me. Ben Leifer hitting that kind of new line right through the middle.
And Aaron Smiley catching an air into the Ozone Bowl and making his way farther, riders left.
Riding out of Breckenridge, I had a nice chat with Aaron at the Après beer session at the White Tooth Brewery down in Nelson there. He goes for a little 180.
Creative approach to that one, too. We've seen a lot of flips and spins, and really exciting to see Aaron bite off another section there.
He's had some success. First in the Copper 3-star, second in Snowbird 4-star, first in Tahoe's 4-star. He had a great shirt on yesterday. It said, drink beer, pet dogs. And I was like, where can I get one of those?
Coming into another air there with the grab.
Just a little pop with the grab. And he's working his way through this Playland section in the beautiful sunshine under the blue skies. And I have a feeling he's going to try and cruise into this Thing 2 cliff where we saw Katie Anderson and Megan Gard, and where we just saw Jordan Tripp lose his snowboard. So as he's cruising in, figuring out where his takeoff is, gathering his bearings, lining up his exit. 3, 2, 1. Hold on, and points it right off the nose. Bit of a backslap, but right back up onto his board. He's happy about that one.
I mean, that was huge, that section that he chose there. That was quite a bit of airtime for our snowboarder here.
Yeah, so we've seen with Jordan and with Aaron, or Smiley, both of them landed in a very similar spot, and it's kind of in that little concave bottom. It's he's riding the horse back into the finish line. It's kind of a really flat spot. It kind of like flattens out right where they both landed. So I don't know if a little bit farther or maybe a different angle would be a better and much more wise exit from there. But we'll see what happens. So here we go. Tams Marvel Series wildcard at a snowboard. Snowbird. I did it now too.
Here comes Tams heading down the ridge line. It looks like he's probably going to set up for that Taj Mahal air because that is the direction he is heading.
Linking some turns, thinking about what he's going to do. And here is the entrance. And, whoa! Goodness, the whole cornice just broke away there.
Oh, wow, you can see him looking at it going, did I just do that?
Yeah, so there is big chunks flowing down the hill right now. So he's going to stop here, and I'm pretty sure this is going to put a pause onto this event for a moment.
Yeah, you can see him just kind of toss his arms up there for a second, like, well, I guess I'll keep going. That was certainly unexpected, and got a little caught up there. We talked about how that section was so techy.
So he just broke off a big piece of that cornice. So it's understandable for him to be maybe a little hesitant right now. I don't know if he's going to continue on with his run, but we'll see what happens when he gets down here.
It looks like he did lose a ski, so unfortunately that is going to be the end of his judged run.
So let's just give him a moment to get his ski back on here. We'll get him down at the bottom, and then we're going to assess how things are going to move on from here. So let's watch him kind of take his run down. He's just going to come right down through the middle. Well, maybe he's going to do an air, which is a little bit frowned upon. But with what just happened,
it's a very unique situation that we just saw.
Yeah, you can understand he may just want to get it out of his system. So let's get him down to the bottom here. We're going to head to a commercial for just a moment, and we'll be right back with you.
moment, holding out for something golden. Found a light on a hill. I was waking up, looking for peace in a world that's divided. Gotta hold on tight when you find it. I was turning around, I was waking up. You're pulling me right in, rotate to you again. I'll live the rest of my life by your side. I wanna stay here forever, playing it all like the radio. Don't see how it.
All right.
Okay, well, we are moving on. Upon another look, it looks like just a little bit of snow got cut away there, and we are on into a new rider.
Brian Bozak on course, coming to you from Sugar Bowl, California. Tahoe rider making his way along the ridgeline. Getting those warm-up turns in and really setting the tone for his riding. We had kind of talked about this as a opportunity for the athletes to, feel their snowboard under their feet, get comfy in their boots, really engage in their riding to set up for their line. So Brian coming into the Taj Mahal.
Lining up his second little air entrance into here. And is he going to hit the diving board? Doesn't look like the snowboarders are really able to get to that main diving port spot and are hitting this secondary feature just below it. As he gets onto his heel edge, blasting through the POW.
Brian making quick work of that Taj Mahal section.
Oh, a nice little air right there. But it looks, unless he gets on his edge right now and cuts across, that might be the last feature he's able to do. Yep, and it looks like he's just going for some soul turns.
And what an exciting venue to take soul turns on. Again, there's a lot of history that goes into this Ozone event. From the Freeride World Tour being here to now setting it up for the challengers, the athletes are saying it's truly just an honor to get to ski on this face. So Brian, coming into the finish corral here, a successful run for our Tahoe rider.
Brian Bozak on an incredible run down the Taj Mahal.
All right, and we just got word that Panel A is ready for our next ski male. Tyler Curl will be next.
We got Tyler Curl riding out of Tahoe. Lives in Reno, but skis for Mount Rose. He actually works for Moment Skis.
And here he comes.
Tyler Curl has been grinding. Oh, with a 3 right off the top. He's coming for it. He is currently sitting in 5th spot. He's been grinding on the qualifiers and the challengers. He had a basically an automatic entrance into this event. Another 3.
Showing up for business. Tyler Curl is getting down to it as he's going to line up another section here into the techie zone.
Airing over those rocks, throwing on the brakes as he hits this next one. Oh, wow, what a great run. He is hitting absolutely everything in sight. He's playing whack-a-mole with this Ozone face.
That was a quick turnaround to be able to link those two features too. So showing really quick work on his feet, getting ready for another one here.
Yeah, really good venue awareness. And another air, and is he going to hit this as a double? He hits it as a backflip. Get to your feet. Get around it. What an amazing run by Tyler Curl. He is going to be happy with that. I think that was the best run we've seen. Fall line straight through the center of the venue. 2 spins, lots of great little extra airs. Good flow and fluidity. Hit that as a double, huck the huge backflip at the bottom, and stomp. What a run by Tyler Curl. As I said, he has been grinding on the qualifier circuit for so long. He's been doing some judging. He is just a free ride fan, so being able to see him put that run down is a great, great thing. And he's sitting, as I said, in 5th place right now with a 5th and an 11th overall. As we see former FWT rider Warren Doyle take a big air as he starts his run at the top of Ozone.
Warren coming into that section that we've seen a lot of athletes go for and getting the air to his feet and linking it far to riders right of the Ozone Bowl.
This is another guy that really understands how to get points. Right there, for instance, how many people have you seen do anything there? But he just decided to do a shifty and a grab in a spot that seemingly hasn't seen much going on. So he manages to find things where no one else does. And that is going to help boost his score, and that's why he's been on the tour twice already.
Absolutely. Warren really knows how to put down a good run, catching another air through there, and it looks like he's heading into thing 1. But crossing over the top of thing 1.
Into thing 2.
Into thing 2.
So we've seen a lot of riders in here. We just saw Jordan Tripp and Smiley basically take this same air right off the center, and both of them hit that flat at the bottom. And Warren Doyle finds the transition and rides out perfectly. So that just shows the difference. So he went, you can see where his bomb hole was. It's about 5 or 6 feet, a little higher up the transition. He managed to lace it perfectly and able to ride out the bottom, where you saw the other two guys go a little bit bigger and hit it where it kind of flattens out, and they got tossed. So that is some really veteran riding, really intelligent riding, but also I think he's ridden this face as well, so maybe a little bit of a extra knowledge for him, you know what I mean?
Warren really is such an expert at reading the terrain. Like
He
you
is.
said, catching that transition and saying, I know this is where I want to go, and just really deliberate with where he took off to make sure he was able to land in the spot that he wanted. So
And being able to put in like tricks and little moves where no one else really has done it. And he did that in Whitewater, and he was doing it yesterday here at the Kirkwood restage.
And next on course, Dante Ginaka coming to you from Argentina, out of Cerro Bayo. Our Argentinian rider, he does so much to help out with their events that they run down there in Freeride, Argentina. He just really embodies the spirit of freeride and cares so deeply about the sport. So really excited to see what he has today. You can see he's getting prepped in the gate, taking a nice look at the riders up top and also the gorgeous landscape we have here at Kicking Horse. It is just truly an incredible day, incredible scenery, and just some all-around incredible vibes happening right now.
Incredible. Kicking Horse is tucked between the Purcell and Rocky Mountain ranges here. And it has the 4th highest vertical drop in North America for a ski resort at 4,314 feet, or like 1,315 meters for our Canadian friends. We are here in Canada today. And it's a really gnarly mountain. As we talked about on yesterday's broadcast, there's lots of ridges and chutes, steep, gnarly chutes, 85 of them to be exact, five alpine bowls, 5 lifts, 120 runs, and then there's a lot of really fantastic backcountry here. Kicking Horse backs onto heli skiing tenure as well. The CMH Purcells has day trip heli skiing out of Golden here. And it's just an amazing, amazing place to be. They've also got the Eagle Eye restaurant at the top of the gondola, which is, I believe, the highest dining experience in North America. And I'll tell you this, they have a spectacular burger.
I feel like that's a pretty solid place to get a burger and look at all the mountains. And like you were saying, Mark, really awesome backcountry access. When I originally came up to the top for my first time yesterday here at Kicking Horse, just looking at the vast mountain ranges, I was like, there is such incredible terrain back there. I bet the access and backcountry skiing is incredible. So 10 out of 10 fan of Kicking Horse.
Oh yeah, it's just so aesthetic as well. Like driving into into town, or even driving to the mountain this morning from the hotel off the highway, you can see this is part of they call it the dog tooths, because the mountains just kind of peak, kind of like dog teeth. A lot of names that you find out in nature are quite obvious. In Whistler we have a wedge mountain because it's shaped like a wedge. There's a green lake in Whistler because it's green. So a lot of the names are kind of obvious, not as creative as you may think, but it is absolutely spectacular. It's one of those places that I always want to just keep pulling my phone out and take photos, and I have the same photo of the same thing probably like 100 times, just on different days.
All right, Dante getting ready to keep the action moving, dropping into the ozone bowl, catching that air off the top. and linking some smooth turns to set the tone for his line.
Oh, he took it a little bigger than a lot of the riders today. Kind of gapped the whole thing. We're seeing everybody hit that because it's the first feature, but we're still getting different views. And he hit that one a little bit bigger as well. So amplitude is the name of the game for Dante here in this run. So he's cruising through this tricky section, actually quite smooth because he's actually riding with those traverse lines. A third air of his run as he cuts over into this big zone. This is where Tyler hit the backflip, launches a spread eagle, puts it to his feet as he ends up straight lining into the bottom.
That was a really fast run out of Dante, and I, like you said, Mark, really like that approach that he took to that top air towards skiers left of Ozone Bowl. He really took it in the middle, where we've seen a lot of athletes take it towards the top. So Dante showing off his creativity and just getting all the hugs at the bottom. I bet he's so proud of that run.
And this is a great way to end it. This is such the bowl down at the bottom of the base of Ozone here. It's a sunny, gorgeous day. All the athletes are sticking around after their runs. Lots of high fives. Everybody getting dapped up. Hugs, smiles. You know, this is the final event of 3 for this 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series by Orage. And as we said, best 2 of 3 runs. So some of these riders know, hey, I'm not going to quite make it, but I'm still going to have fun. I get to ride Ozone. And some do. Like this gentleman right here, Tavo Sedg, riding out of Alpine Meadows and Palisades Tahoe. First place in Junior Worlds in 2022. First place in the Whistler Challenger that I was on MC for in 2023. And first place in snowboard. This guy's name has been around freeride for a long time. I love watching him ride, and he's a great dude.
Coming into a clean air there for Tavo, and like you mentioned, yeah, he's just so dedicated to the sport. He really cares about the community and the passion that goes into it and everything that it takes to run an event. Tavo getting ready to line up another one here.
Yeah, just doing a quick little switch, revert around to get on his proper edge so he can drop that little air and then cut across the slope here into his next feature.
Tavo making quick use of the venue, lining up another bite there. Chipping off another score for his line score as he makes his way towards thing 2. Taking a different approach to what we've seen from our last couple snowboarders.
Yeah, slight little different entrance, and basically landed right beside Warren Doyle. Different entrance, but same landing, a little farther up the transition. So that right there shows that veteran savvy between Tavo as well as Warren Doyle as he cruises out to the bottom, hands up, big smiles.
It felt similar to, again, having that expertise in being able to read the terrain. Different approach than Warren, but same exit, so same result, that it was clean and consistent and to his feet. Next we have Santiago de Pelagrin, coming to you from Argentina, out of Las Leñas. He was an alpine skier growing up and then quit in order to just discover freeride and finding out he wanted to go for it, and here he is going for it, dropping into the Ozone Bowl.
And it looks, he's written this in Spanish, but it looks like AC/DC is kind of the same in any language. So he says anything, AC/DC or anything with power.
Oh, Santiago, unfortunately not quite making it to the transition he wanted of that landing, but back on his feet and moving again.
And a couple riders ago, Dante, he's a big AC/DC fan as well, so it must be an Argentinian thing. I bet you an AC/DC show in Argentina would be absolutely bonkers.
Would go pretty hard. Santiago navigating his way through the trees up here. Slipping to exactly where he wants to go for his takeoff.
Looks like he's going to go right off the side of the spine there. That's a nice little exit.
And
Heading
an exit
sorry, go ahead.
in order to link something else up here.
And he hits this as a little fun double as well. Kind of drips off into that shelf, picks up the speed and then pops off that second little ridge. Interesting and unique little route through there.
Absolutely. Santiago down at the bottom. Smile on his face. We love to see it. Next athlete, we have Devin Miller dropping in.
Devin Miller, Dev from Ski Moran Heights in the Laurentians. He's a rider from Quebec. 3-time consecutive winner of the Massif du Sud. Massif du Sud is like the powder capital of the East Coast.
And they had a pretty good season out there in the East Coast this year.
They had a great season over there this year.
Absolutely. The East Coast deserves some love in their snowfall, so I was so excited to hear.
Well, the skiers and the snowboarders will tell you they had a great season. Everybody else would say it was a miserable, awful, long winter, but those people aren't watching, so it doesn't matter.
Devin making his way far riders left.
He's going right over the traverse into the very top section. We've only seen a couple people go that high, that far over.
And now he is getting down to business, putting some turns down, catching some air through those trees there.
A little jump turn through the trees there, yeah. And this is the top of that little playland section that Michaela Willis was one of the first riders to go through and was finding just popping off everything.
Linking some turns here.
Oh, tree. High five, tree.
Not slowing him down as he is still making his way towards the bottom of the venue.
So I wonder if the snow is getting a little heavier in this section now that we're a little bit later in the day when the sun has been on it for the whole afternoon.
And yet you can see Devin traversing over here because it looks like he wants to catch something further skiers right of this bottom section.
Trying to get some speed up. There he goes. He had to work for that one.
And into the corral he goes. Our Canadian rider taking a deep breath at the bottom there.
Consecutive winner of the Mass Speed Food. Real speed pressure. Know what that is? It's really, really big free ride competition.
Getting the fist bumps from all the friends. Devin was our 62nd rider to drop today, so 62nd out of 80. We are almost all the way through all of our athletes. Stop 3 of 3 of the Challenger Series here.
We are 3/4 of the way through, or so.
Give or take.
Give or take a point or two. Essentially 3/4. All right. As you can see, we've got that heavy breeze, light wind up on the ridge there. It's not very windy down here in the bowl. It is a perfect day for free ride. The sky isn't quite as blue as it was, but we've got some really high level kind of cloud kind of cruising in. But I don't think it's going to affect our light at all. And we should have no problem getting through the rest of our roster of riders. Next up, we got Hans Viner, who is a series wildcard out of Park City. And he is cruising his way down the ridge, and look at that beautiful view of the Purcell Mountain Range.
Getting some warm-up turns in here along the ridge line.
Not really. It looks like he's straightforward.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually.
Just a couple little wiggles.
Getting some warm-up wiggles.
Oh, is he going in switch? What is happening here? Oh, 540 off of the cornice.
That takeoff just looked so clean,
So clean. Coming in switch, 540 off the cornice. Smooth landing as he heads into this next section. He's hitting the George Rodney Pyramid. Going for a 720. Oh, doesn't quite get it around, but that's the one I've been talking about. That's the first time we've seen it hit today. He was going full freestyle on this run here. Big points to Hans.
Just really taking a unique approach, and I bet he had his intentions set for the day of, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do
no doubt. You don't roll into the George Rodney pyramid and huck a 720.
And go, maybe I'll do a 720.
Unless you know exactly that's what you're planning on doing. Oh, great move off the top with that switch 5 off the cornice, and then straight into that 720 off the George Rodney cliff. So that the pyramid was first hit by George Rodney in the 2018.
Oh, and look at that. It looks like he...
Oh, my God. He completely broke his ski apart.
So we have a broken ski, a detached snowboard. The ozone
that's
face is really just making work out of this
That's
equipment.
the biggest deal I think I have ever seen. All right, we've got while we're processing what just happened. We've got Mitchell Davern on slope right now for snowboard men, and Mitchell's sitting in 4th place overall with his 6th and a 4th as he comes out of that top air.
Mitchell, our Kiwi rider, coming to you from Cardrona and Trebilcoen down in Wanaka, New Zealand.
So as we have mentioned several times on it, if you're just joining us, as he spins off this top little air, the top 2 of 3 results in this Challenger Series goes towards the overall. 4 ski men, 2 snowboard men, 2 snowboard women, and 1 snowboard women and 2 ski women. As he pops off this little section and cuts across away from that kind of tricky snow, it heads to a new section of the face. So as I said, 4 ski men, 2 ski women, 2 snowboard men, and 1 snowboard woman make it on. The top 2 of 3 results gets you the, I guess, title of winning the Challenger Series, but also books your ticket to the 2027 FWT next year. So he's currently sitting above Thing 1, as we've been calling it. And I wonder if he's going to take it off the nose right into that pocket. Maybe hit it as a double. Only he knows. We'll soon find out.
Oh, wow. And catching a nice transition there. You know, I wasn't sure if he was going to have the speed to clear the rocks, but he lined up exactly where he wanted and executed it so smoothly.
Right, the same line that we saw Kestrel and Selby Hall take.
Absolutely, and yeah, took a different approach to it. I can see in his tracks he landed quite higher than the girls did, but, you know, totally different navigating it on a snowboard, so.
Yeah, and it's a much different way to enter as well, right? When you can just point your tips and, you know,
and shoot it
set
off,
it
it's
and
very
forget
different,
it. You can just get right through. But with a snowboard, you really have to make sure your edge is right and you're set up the right way.
And Sebastian Nava is on course right now.
Sebastian had a great event yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. He was in 2nd place yesterday.
He took a huge air yesterday to wrap up the day, and it was so exciting to watch as he drops into the cornice, it looked like. There he is.
Yeah, I missed his entrance into the cornice as he cruises under this. Basically, he's getting barreled by that cornice right now. Cuts back across. Linking some hot turns right into the George Rodney cliff.
I was going to say, I think we have another taker for our pyramid.
Takes a huge straight air to the parking lot. Oh, and just gets kind of back onto his feet. So he landed, got kind of tossed, spun around in the cloud, and then boom, right onto his feet. Big, big credit. So that was first opened up and named by George Rodney in 2018 at the FWT Kicking Horse event. Then in 2022, Yu Sasaki absolutely sent it to the parking lot off of there. And then we see Max Hitzig with that backflip in 2023, which is, I think everybody that follows freeride has seen that.
All right, and back up top, Bradley Lamoureux dropping in to the Ozone Bowl.
Bradley Lamoureux is currently above the qualification line. He's in 2nd place with a 3rd and a 3rd in Whitewater and a 2nd yesterday at the Kirkwood restage. As he's having lots of little pop there, back onto his heel edge, and a nice clean carve out. And he's coming into this section here And a little spin. Actually looked really, really smooth.
Really smooth, and that's something that has been so exciting to watch Bradley in this Challenger Series is his consistency in his riding.
Get up there. There we go.
Another air there for Bradley.
With
Clean
the grab.
to his feet.
With the grab.
And you know, Mark, that's something we were saying about these athletes. Is it's not just about how good you are or you can hit the biggest thing, but it's about how consistent you can be in your riding or skiing. Is you can't just do it great once, you have to do it great consistently.
You gotta do it at least twice.
You gotta do it at least twice. Bradley catching another air there.
Smart around there, because if you go straight off, you're hitting those trees, so he managed to navigate around it. So he's actually cruising into the same zone we just saw. Devin Miller blasting into the chute, popping off it, stomping and straight lining out. He is happy with that run. So he is already sitting in second with a, what did I say? It was a third and a second overall. That's a really, really good run. So he is sitting up really good, really nicely. If he's able to improve, maybe with another second or a first, it's only going to boost him up. But right now, he's actually looking really good. 2 great runs to start and a good run to finish.
And that last air, too, he was quite fluid in his entrance to it, too, where we saw Mitchell, had a little bit more of a hesitation. Bradley really just went for it and continued with that speed. So I think this is going to be an exciting run for Bradley.
Yeah, a lot, really nice fluidity into there that might separate himself from the others.
All right, on to our next ski male, Lewis Overington. Coming to you from Bridger Bowl, MSU Freeride. Wants to give a big shout out to his mom and dad.
The song that he would put down is Mayonnaise. And we know Lewis is a bit of a character. So I don't know if he just said mayonnaise or if that's mayonnaise from the Smashing Pumpkins. I might have to ask him, because that's also a good song.
We'll have to find out.
Lewis Overington.
All right, and we can see him up there in the start gate, getting his legs warmed up and dropping in. All right, coming into the Ozone Bowl, catching an air, and then laying down some carbs in this open spot so he can get over to that feature with the 360 and loop it back around.
Yeah, just like Lachlan did, the first to do that. Turn that 1 into a 2. 50% off. Goes for another spin. I think this is the opposite spin. Opposite direction.
Lewis navigating through the trees here.
Yeah, quick little turns.
Gonna line
Really
up
strong.
a takeoff and go huge.
Woo, sending it in with a little bounce at the bottom, but holding on. He's happy with it. Nice quick run from Lewis.
Fast. That was the first thing that came to mind as he got to the bottom. That was just really speedy work of the entire venue. Oh yeah, he looks stoked on that run. Getting some love at the bottom for that. Very well deserved. Our next athlete is going to be Holden Samuels from Salt Lake City.
Holden Samuels got cut from the FWT this year. He is currently sitting in first place in snowboard men with a first in Whitewater and a third yesterday at the Kirkwood restage. He wants his spot back. And he's set up for it. He is currently working his way across the top of the Ozone Bowl, cutting back in here. Nice solid air, going for the grab as he cuts back over into this next section. This is the same line we just saw from Bradley, or Lemro, who is sitting in second. Oh, little bit back seat.
But back on his feet and cruising again towards the riders left of the venue.
Arc and a big turn. Holden is so strong on his board. Really technically strong rider, and is very comfortable in sketchy areas and going into like really gnarly technical terrain.
Coming into thing one here.
As he's proved over and over on the Freeride World Tour. He had a second
Oh, and to his feet, sliding right around that tree too. Really excellent job navigating that landing.
It's interesting how we've seen kind of trends. We saw 4 or 5 guys go over into that Taj Mahal zone, and then we've seen 4 or 5 guys go into this Thing 1 zone, or 4 or 5 riders, should I say. So it's almost like, oh, this is what we're going to do now. This is what we're going to do now. It hasn't really been spread out. It's been coming in chunks, in bunches.
It really has, one after another, kind of seeing the action in the same spot. So exciting to see, though, you know, the athletes really make use of all the venue. We've seen this far riders left, and we've seen far riders right to the Taj Mahal. So they're really using the entire ozone face.
So he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He finished second here at the FWT last year. And he also was a second. He got to the FWT by being a second overall in the Challenger Series in 2022. So he's been on the tour for about 3 years now. And with that one unfortunate little control issue, you know, this might be his throwaway event. But looking at that and having it be your throwaway event, you know that you've done well the first 2. As I said, he's currently sitting in first place with a first and a third. Bradley Lamoureux is sitting in second with a third and a second. So if Bradley wins this event today, he'll probably move into first, and Holden may move down into second. I don't have the official mathematician or statistician in my ear, but from what I can tell, if Bradley wins today, I think they might just switch. And I think they might both be fairly safe, unless, yeah, just watching some of the other runs, I think that's kind of how it looks like it's going to be lining up. But we'll have to wait until after the event when we get to the podiums to find out how everyone did.
And Adrien Hayden here making his way along the ridge line. Adrian from Whiteface Mountain, New York.
And he's as he cruises into this Taj Mahal zone. Here comes the jump turn. A little bit more fluid through this section. Oh yeah, great little line right through the middle, and then he hits this and a big floaty 3 into the POW, brand new line. And he actually has basically that line puts him right in a spot where he can hit this second air. Takes it off the front and works his way right down to the bottom. So really, really fascinating and unique line through that top section we haven't seen yet.
And our 69th rider of the day opening up a new face in the venue too. So, you know, we've made it almost 70 athletes through the competition, and someone was still able to find a unique take that we haven't seen yet today.
A nice new little line through a zone that doesn't really offer a lot of variation. Next up, we have Tilden Woolly, former Freeride World Tour rider. He was first overall in the 2024 Challenger. Tilden's currently sitting in third place. So he has a second and a 14th. If Tilden wins this one, he actually could bump one of either Holden or Bradley. I'm updating my my calculations in real time. So Tilden sitting in third with a second and a 14th. The 14th obviously is throwaway. If he ends up with a second or a first here, there is a good chance he makes his way back onto the tour.
And Tilden caught a nice bite off the top of that first feature as he lines up another one. You know, he's a judge in the junior series out of Tahoe, so he really knows the sport well, knows what the judges are looking for, navigating through this techie section here, catching an air to his feet, shutting down some speed.
Holding on. Nice work. He wants it.
And getting his control back underneath him.
Going for the spin. Oh, holding on. Great. Getting a little off balance, but keeping his body off the snow. Get back on that edge. Great edge control. One last little feature he's going to be able to hit here. Hits that air and is going to make his way out. So, I'd say that was a really good run compared to the others. I'm not a judge, but I'd be interested in seeing how he does.
I agree. You know, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that is going to be really interesting to see how that plays out in the whole division of snowboard men. Tilden getting all the love at the bottom. all the friends so excited to see it. It is just truly so excellent here. Everything the athletes have done to make this event happen, all of the staff, and we are moving on to our 71st athlete of the day. Less than 10 athletes left.
So if Tilden wins this event, it could move him into first place, and it would bump either Holden or Bradley off the top. So Holden had a little bit of a bobble, Bradley had a good run, and Tilden had a decent run as well. So it could be any of those three, and it's going to be two of the three. So that kind of increases the drama a little bit. For me, anyways, as a free ride fan, and we better believe we're going to be talking about this on the free ride guide coming up soon. As we got Paul Melchert.
Paul making his way along the ridge line. Coming into the Taj Mahal.
Having a little look. And we actually, the last rider that we saw here was Adrian Boyd actually went through here nice and quick. He's actually trying to find a nice little new line here too. Little jump turn to the shelf. Working his way down the spine. Nice three into the POW. Another unique line out of there. And I wonder if this is because of what I was talking about earlier. As the more traffic that gets in there, a lot of that snow is going to get basically chopped up. And he is fired up. So another nice, really unique line through a zone that doesn't really offer a lot of variation.
And that was a fast run for Paul. Yeah, like you said, opening up a new section. Got some powder turns in there, too. Definitely some untouched areas that Paul was able to get into.
That's why I shouldn't be a judge, because the rider that gets the most fresh is usually who I'm going to be giving high points to.
All right, our next athlete, Brian Stenerson.
Brian Stenerson, Stenny out of Kirkwood. We did the Kirkwood restage yesterday. He was a FWT rider at one point, and you can tell by watching. He knows what the judges are looking for. He knows what he needs to do. He's a really aggressive rider and super strong on his board. As you can see there, perfectly smooth air with the grab as he cruises into this next section. And I wonder if he's going to hit this top air that most people have. Oh, he is.
Oh, he is, but where will he take it is the question.
Good
Looks
question.
like he's going a little...
Right there, 360. Oh, and just gets a little bit farther forward, and his nose gets caught. A little bit of a somersault, but back onto his board. Not what he wanted to do, unfortunately.
And yeah, that first feature, he has so many different approaches to the entrance, so always exciting to see where the athletes are going to go. But Brian cruising his way over to either thing 1 or thing 2. Only he knows.
2.
2, and now we know.
Just making sure he's got that right entrance. And sending it. Whoa! The biggest we've seen anybody hit it so far. So it seems like there are 2. So as I mentioned before, we saw Holden and Tavo hit that zone. And, Warren Doyle and Tavo take it a little bit smaller, so they hit that side of the transition. We saw Jordan, Tripp, and Smiley hit it in the middle where it was a little flatter, and they both ended up falling. And then we got Brian Stenerson taking it even a little bit farther and finding the other end of that transition. So it seems like big or small, and this isn't the Goldilocks zone where the middle is just right. It's actually the exact opposite. So it's interesting to see that we've had 5 different riders hit that spot, and they've really shown you exactly where the best spot, like the best landing zone is, the best way out of it is.
Yeah, he really took that quite deep. Looking up at his tracks now on the venue, you can just see the significantly different amount of air that he got there from Brian.
Yeah, he boosted.
He boosted.
Maybe a little, as Derek likes to call it, a little bit of a hate huck. After getting his nose caught up there and going over the bars, maybe it was a little hate huck. I'm just going to send this as far as I can.
All right. Our next athlete is going to be Reed Kelly from Revelstoke. He won both of the Revelstoke competitions. Coming out of the Revelstoke Freeride Club, Reed was 3rd overall in the first stop at Whitewater. So this competition here today at Kicking Horse can make a big difference for him in how he plays out in the overall rankings. And I'm sure he has that in mind as he picked out his line this morning and is getting ready to drop in. So we are just waiting for Panel A to get ready, our judges in Panel A, to be ready to score his run. You know, it takes a minute for the judges to sit and do the math and really make sure that they feel comfortable with the numbers that they're putting out. And we can see the wind moving. You know, I would go from a strong breeze to a wind now. I think I can comfortably say it looks windy up top.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. I wouldn't even say it's a light wind. I would just say it's wind.
It's just wind. All right. Reed getting his final fist bump. Tapping his poles.
Fist bumps for free ride. Here we go. Reed Kelly on course. Riding out of Revelstoke, just down the way. Another guy who listens to AC/DC, some Hell's Bells.
Catching some big air off that top into the ozone bowl.
Nice big straight air to his feet.
Coming in further, skiers right of the bowl.
Another big air with the grab. Cruising into this little section that's difficult for a few riders. Pointing it off the front and then curling around to this lower section. This is where Tyler Curl hit that big backflip. Oh, he just sent it big. Very well done. Super smooth run. Lots of straight airs. No tricks, unfortunately, just for us as watchers. But if he's happy with that run, looks like he is. A couple big airs. Very smooth run from Reed.
Quick use of that venue, too. It was definitely a blink and you'll miss it run. And back up, we have our final snowboard man. He's coming to you from Sweden. Anton Falden. Falkdalen, thank you. Anton was 1st at the Kicking Horse 2-star and 3rd in the 4-star this year. So our wild card, event wild card today.
Event wildcard today. If you're wondering why a Swedish rider is here in Region 2, as he pops off that top little rollover or little shelf, if we'll call it, coming in with a little bit of heat. We haven't seen him ride this week as he is a event wildcard.
And catching some line section up there to line up for another one.
Oh, going for the air with the grab.
Nice and big and
having a little bit of trouble in that section. That's been giving a lot of people issues today. A lot of like diagonal traverse lines that create kind of like that wave effect.
And Anton's finding another section there with the 360, getting a little bucked on the landing, but he is on his feet and looks like he might have one more for us.
Just kind of hovers over that. That was kind of fun.
To his feet and making his way to the corral.
All right, next up we have Kai Morgan, who is currently sitting in 1st place overall for ski men. He won the whitewater competition, even though he didn't think he would have. And he came in 5th yesterday at the Kirkwood restage. I met Kai in whitewater on the chairlift. Seems like a really nice guy. And he's a great skier, as he's proved. So he's currently in 1st and 5th. 2nd place in ski men is Nathan Pruzan, who has a 2nd and a 4th. They're only 80 points separated between them. Orion Cherney has a 12th and a 3rd, but we saw he won't be moving, I don't think, into that position because of that little bobble he had almost hitting the tree. Tyler Curl has a 5th and an 11th. He's in 5th, but we saw Tyler Curl put down an absolutely spectacular run today.
Kai Going for the left side 360 over that top air at the bottom of Ozone Bowl.
Looks like he's done that before.
Oh, yeah. He knew what he was getting into.
Another one. Perfect landing. Didn't come all the way around. Found the exact spot he wanted to so he could have the exit into this next zone.
And on the move here, coming into this peppery section, but making his way up across it.
So this is the air that a lot of the riders... So he took it a little differently. Oh, no. Oh, goodness. Oh, ski and switch.
Oh, he was so close to being able to revert and get that back under him, but
So
unfortunately...
we've seen 3 riders hit that diagonal rock pepper section, and 3 people weren't able to get through it. The first 2 aired over and clipped their skis on that bottom little bit of rock. And Kai kind of cruised a little bit beyond the takeoff that the 2 other riders had taken. Found a fun little nose, but couldn't quite hold on to it. But if that's going to be his throwaway, not so bad. He had a 1st and a 5th, currently sitting in top spot. So we're going to go and take a quick little break and a message from some of our partners, and we'll be with you very shortly.
There's nothing like that click. That moment where everything just falls into place. Where movements become muscle memory. And control feels like freedom. Every version of yourself echoing, teaching you, pushing you to that point. The moment you know you're exactly where you're meant to be.
Welcome back, everybody. We are on the final stretch of the 2026 IFSA FWT Challengers Series by Orage. We've got Joshua Bull dropping in JB from Sierra.
All right, Josh Bull on course, ripping some turns to get started. Left side 360 off the top there and coming into another air, looping that bottom section of the same feature to build that line score. Another small air to his feet as he keeps moving over because it looks like he's going to bite off something else.
Yep. Going for the 3, landing perfectly, and as he gets on that downhill edge, curls around the corner, and he's going for a big straight air. Oh, punch front.
Unfortunately not quite making the landing.
He's all right. Unlucky for Josh Bull. He's had a bit of a challenging Challenger series this year, but I am sure we will see him again. Lots of energy in that young man.
Absolutely. Making his way into the corral. And again, just what an accomplishment to make it to this level of riding. These athletes have worked so hard to get here. They've been competing all season, and it's really an accomplishment to not only be here, but get to ski this space. And so, since we are all done with our snowboard men, we only have a few ski men left, which means we are only on panel A of our judges. So the judges will take a few minutes after each athlete to make sure that they can get the right score down and then prepare for the next athlete to drop.
So we have 4 riders left. That actually went by pretty quick. This last section went by really fast. What a day we've had. What a week. We've done 3 events in a week here in Eastern Canada. First, we started off the series in Whitewater in the town of Nelson under the Waimea Peak, a massive, massive venue. 3 very different venues. We are originally scheduled to go to Kirkwood and ride the legendary Cirque, hosted by Tahoe Free Ride. But unfortunately, they haven't had the season they really wanted this year, so we had to restage it. And since we are already coming to Canada for 2 events, and that Kicking Horse has several venues available, and they've done several events back to back to back in the past as well at the highest level, it just seemed natural to make it happen. The powers that be had the conversations. They did their due diligence and said, yep, we can do it. So we went from Whitewater yesterday on one ridge over, T1 North. We had the Kirkwood restage. And then today we are here on the Ozone face, the FWT face that a lot of these riders wanted to get onto, just for, I think, the prestige of the whole thing. Shout out Prestige Resorts and Hotels, which is what we are staying. I'm staying at in the village, and they are a partner of the IFSA, helping us out this season. So thanks to the Prestige for the comfy beds, comfy pillows, and you're a big fan of the gym.
Yep, it's been really fun to get to hang out in Golden here in BC and see a little bit of the town as well. And you mentioned the hotel being a partner to this event, and there's so many things that go into building this event. It's, where are we going to get all the staff and judges to stay, and flying people in from wherever they live to come out to this event to help. So there's so much coordination that goes into making these events run. So big shout out to all the people that helped make it possible, and all of the athletes that worked so hard to put on a show for us today. It's, hard for them to get to where they need to be to compete and plan their travel and everything. So really a proper challenger series.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of those riders actually have to find their own accommodations. They have to go and basically they're on their own to figure out how they're going to make it happen. With the FW2, everyone's in the same spot. So with Prestige, we're going to try and create kind of like more of an athlete's village or an athlete's hub or athlete's hotel. So a lot of these free riders can find the same spot. So we got Stellan Lane in a deep tuck down the ridge. He knows he's having a good time. Fist in the air, ready to put down his final run of the Challenger Series. Cruising in hot. I wonder if he's got that speed because he wants to launch off the ridge. Doesn't look like it. He's cruising into this Taj Mahal spine. Lining it up. Is he going to hit the diving board? What line is he going to take? Diving board it is.
It looks like he's getting ready for it.
And going for a spin off. And hold on. Hold on. There you go. Back on his feet.
I really wonder how that section has changed throughout the day. But Stellan Lane grabbing another air here.
Off the side of the George Rodney Pyramid. Hitting into this third air here.
Looks like he's able to grab one more piece of line score here.
Boom. Puts it to his feet. Bolts.
Stellan Lane.
Somebody you can tell likes to have a good time, especially with the tuck at the top. So we got 3 riders left. So we got 3 riders left, and we are going to take you back to some ads. Some of our sponsors, the people that are allowing us to make this happen.
like the thrill of discovering a new ski spot, but you can't underestimate the challenge.
Okay, Simon, go left at the beginning, then right, and rip it.
That's why you need someone by your side who knows the terrain, no matter how experienced you are.
That was a good one.
Let's do it again?
Yeah.
All right, welcome back. I hope everybody purchases or participates in something from one of our sponsors there, because that's the whole reason. So go buy the thing, go book the stay. And wow, got hot right out of the gate. We've got Jackson Bathgate. I think this is his swan song. He is a Freeride World Tour champ in 2016. Big air there. He was on the FWT in 2024. And I think he's about to hang up the boots when it comes to freeride competition.
Catching some nice air off the top here.
Skiing it fast, having a time.
And making quick use of the venue. He's about halfway down already, but not done yet.
He wasn't sure if he even wanted to because he had a good run yesterday. And I was like, no, you got to. Nice air. He's gonna hit this bottom one. Does he have enough time? Blowing on the brakes. Launching that second. Oh! Hitting down. Tapping the head.
Big Polish donut there. You can see his pole's a bit above him.
Did you get a little bit of snow in his hood? Was that a head tap or was that just a holding on?
You know, I'm not sure, but he is up and looking
moving
for
a little
his
gingerly
pole.
there. Hiking up for his pole.
Jackson, originally coming out of the Whistler Freeride Club, where we've seen so many of our athletes today.
Oh yeah, they have got an absolute solid program there. Headed up by FWT broadcaster and my co-host on the Freeride Guide, Derek Foose. Yeah, Whistler Freeride Club is has a lot of riders that have made their way through the Challengers and onto the Tour. And that's something that you're seeing across Canada here. Red Mountain has a great freeride team. Whitewater has a great freeride team. Here in Kicking Horse, and you know the Western Freeride Club.
Western Canada Freeride is the region that runs the freeride events out of Western Freeride.
Thank you.
And you know, next week, all those teams that you were just talking about, Mark, are going to come here to Kicking Horse for our Junior Freeride Championship,
right?
Which is the largest junior freeride event in the world.
Yeah, in the world. That's what you just say. There was about 300
Almost
athletes.
300 athletes, not quite, but it is like the best of the best from our athletes this season in our junior series, similar to Challengers, work their way through the ranking in their 2- and 3-star events to get invited to JFCs. So we have a couple days off here at the IFSA to really prep for the juniors coming in next week, and that event will start from the 4th and run through the 8th.
All right, a lot of hotel rooms to fill that week, that's for sure.
Exactly. But I'm sure a lot of the juniors are tuning in today too, watching our Challenger Series athletes and kind of getting ready to set their tone for their event too. It'll be really exciting to watch our juniors after the Challenger athletes have done such a good job kicking off the championship series.
Absolutely. So we are on to our second last rider.
Our penultimate rider.
The penultimate rider of the series. Hayes Livernois from Big Sky, Montana.
First at the Kirkwood 4-star this year. Earned his way up to Challengers and dropping into the Ozone Bowl.
Let's see what these last two riders have for us today. As you can see, the sky is getting a little high cloud, a little gray. Oh! Big flared out backflip. Or was that a flat spin?
You know, I'm going to call that a flat spin, but we'll have to run that one back and look at it later. Because Hayes is lining up.
Go for the 720. Oh! Getting bucked landing in that zone. Get on his skis just in
Wow.
time to air that last little feature. Wow, that is some recovery. What's he doing here? Another 3.
Just
Well,
for the soul.
He was absolutely going for it. But that, in any other day, would be the best spot. We've been talking about that section and the quality of snow and how chopped up it was all day. So definitely not the landing, the landing zone that he wanted, or the quality of landing that he wanted, but full marks for going for the 720. First one we've seen today. No,
we saw, I believe it was Hans
right.
Reiner.
That's
Go for
that's
the
right, off of the
pyramid.
pyramid.
Yep.
Yes, that's right. It blew my mind. I think I blanked out when I saw it the first time.
All right, and we have a final rider after Hayes.
Full points for me for Hayes for that attempt. And here we go, our final rider of the day.
Absolutely, and our final rider is in a bit of a unique situation today. Unfortunately, he sustained an injury after Whitewater and did not compete yesterday due to this injury. Is feeling better today, but knows that he's not able to ski at his full potential, and came up to the IFSA team yesterday and said, I really want to ski this venue for the soul of skiing this venue. I want to take this opportunity to ski Ozone, which doesn't come around very often, and I just want to go and put some soul turns down and just enjoy the experience, do it for the heart of freeride. So to hear him say that, we were fully on board and said, Adam, we encourage this type of behavior. We want you to have this experience. So today, Adam is really just going to lap it up with some soul turns to end our Challenger Series.
That puts a big smile on my face. Do it for the love, because that's why we're here. We all love to ski and snowboard. Riding on snow, in my opinion, there's nothing better in the world.
And the Challenger Series is so competitive. These athletes have worked so hard to get here. As we mentioned, they've been competing all season or showing off what they needed to be wild carded in or coming out of the Freeride World Tour. And it puts such an intense element on skiing, which is exciting. It's what we want to see. It's why we're here. But I think this is a really beautiful opportunity that Adam has presented here to show that, it is about the competition, but it's also about the love of skiing.
Yeah, that's really it at its core. We all do this because we love it. And we just choose what angle or what lane we want to take in order to experience it the best that we possibly can. Some people just want to do straight up POW skiing. Some people love carving on corn. Some people love to ski the resort. Some people like to ski in the backcountry. But it's all the same. Riding, snowboarding, skiing. And here we have roll-offs to send us off, to finish off the 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series by Orage. Heading over here under the cornice, getting barreled.
Absolutely, and you could just feel it. He's doing it for the soul right now, enjoying every turn and just giving all of us the opportunity to kind of go back to our roots in skiing and remind ourselves why we do this sport. Why do we enjoy sliding on snow?
And you can see him cutting underneath the Taj Mahal cliff here. And you know why? Because that's where the POW is.
POW turns
coming
for the
in,
soul.
and look at this. He's coming into this ridge and turning into the POW.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I hope he gets a big cheer from the crowd.
I just have so much respect for the way he presented this concept of, it would have been really easy for him to just say, nope, not competing, not into it, but he is here.
Fantastic.
And enjoying the Ozone venue.
And what a great way to end things off. Great job, Adam. Way to send it. Getting a big round of applause from everyone down at the bottom. Just enjoying his turns.
Oh, yeah, getting a hug at the bottom.
Oh, man, that puts a smile on my face. That's why we do it. We love this sport. And we just want as much as we can get. And if that's what, so he comes in as a competitor and wants to compete, but if that's all you can get, that's what we'll take, right? And that's what we're going to enjoy it to its fullest. So thank you everyone for tuning in for this week of Freeride here in the Americas. From
Alaska to Patagonia.
I was going to do it in reverse.
You were going south to north.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. Patagonia to Alaska, and we do it Alaska to Patagonia. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for this great week of free ride. We started off in Nelson, BC, skiing in Whitewater. We then held our Kirkwood restage here in Kicking Horse on T1 North. And today, we get the riders get to ride the ultimate ozone face. We've had a great time. You and I worked together for the first time, and I've had a lot of fun.
It's been such a pleasure, Mark. Thank you.
I feel like we've been getting every single day. It's nice and cold today, and we've been managing to stay warm. So we want to give some acknowledgments to all the people behind the scenes, especially for the IFA staff acknowledgement. Big shout out to Focha Ochagavia, IFSA brand manager and Chilean Army Knife. Want to shout out to Ariane Goulet, Director of Sport, and I found out she won Wrangle the Shoot back in 2020. So shout out Ariane. Brian Cole, Director of Operations. Miss Rachel Shannon, who is the Education System Manager, as well as co-host, as well as many other things. You do a lot around here. Finn Lund, who has been in our ear. He's the production manager. He's the guy that's enabling this live stream. Evan Gray, community manager, who sets up the rope drop. He's on the Instagram account. He's basically the guy that communicates and gets all of the fun stuff out. Meg Hurahan, the IFSA president. Deanna Garul, financial manager. And myself. My name is Mark Warner. I was your host alongside Rachel Shannon today. And we also want to give huge thanks to the folks at Kicking Horse.
Toby Barrett, the manager, the man that really helped us put this event on, the Resort of the Canadian Rockies, all of the Kicking Horse staff, their small army of volunteers that make this event possible, their safety team that worked so hard with our technical director to open the ozone face to us for competition today, and all of the lift-offs.
Absolutely. We want to thank the riders. We also want to thank the judges, basically everyone that's been involved with the 2026 IFSA FWT Challenger Series.
And that's a wrap on our Challenger Series, but stay tuned for our juniors next week.
Thanks, everybody. If you're in Golden, make sure you get up here for the juniors, and stay tuned, because we're going to be live streaming that as well.
Absolutely.
All right, so for myself and for Rachel, thanks for tuning in this week, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.